Good evening, everybody. I'm Matthew Alvarez here live in the Bronx, the Big Apple, New York City, right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. As you know, this is going to be a very historic day as President Trump makes a campaign stop here in the Bronx. The last time that happened was back in 1980 under Ronald Reagan when he was going up against Jimmy Carter in 1980. So obviously a big day here, people from all walks of life. It's going to be a great time. Usually in the Bronx, it's let's go Yankees, but today it will be let's go Brandon. Let's take a live look real quick here on Right Side Broadcasting Network at the crowd. People from left to right in the sense of your vantage point right now. As you can see, you've got the podium, you've got people with the red hats on, the MAGA hats, the signs. You know, people were saying on the left, they were saying that this is not a good thing to have here in the Bronx because it's such a Democratic area. Well, times have changed, as you can see right here, live on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Before we get to a number of topics and interview some great patriots here, I do want to thank our friends at the Birch Gold Group. All you have to do is text Trump to 9898. There's a very common sense reason gold is pushing to all-time highs right now. Actually, there's several reasons. The cost of goods continues to rise despite interest rate controls by the Fed. So the national debt continues to skyrocket, now above $34 trillion, causing many to worry when the house of cards will come crashing down. So a presidential election year that will have massive implications on the future of this country. All of this adds up to instability and uncertainty. And that is why so many Americans are turning to Birch Gold Group. All you have to do is text Trump to 9898, a great sponsor with us here in New York City at the Bronx, as we're going to have more than 3,000 people. I mean, we're looking at a crowd right now of more than 1,500 at this point, and there are a lot of people still waiting to get in a very secure area. I mean, we saw the Secret Service earlier, the New York Police Department, and other law enforcement in this park. So this is Crotona Park, and I'll tell you, it's pretty awesome to be live in New York City, where it is supposed to be the empire, the media empire of the world, or the media empire of the lead of the world, right? You know, you think about CBS and NBC and ABC, CNN, a number of other national outlets and international outlets are based here. And so what we know about that is a lot of fake news. So this is the belly of the beast, as they say. And that's where we are right now, as they just turn on the bright lights there. So I might be very bright looking right now. So if we need to tone that down a little bit, we can. I'm here with my camera operator, Denver, and it's going to be an awesome day today. Now, we got to look at some of the polls real quick. I mean, you see President Trump leading, of course, many key states, from Pennsylvania to Arizona, Michigan, Nevada. So that's from a morning consult poll that has recently been released, also with the Bloomberg morning consult poll. So you can tell that the president not only has the support in the polls, but of course the boots on the ground. You're seeing it here in the Bronx. I mean, the president made a trip to Harlem recently, as you saw with Brian Glenn and RSBN just not too long ago. And then, of course, he stopped at a construction site and is making a lot of stops in the area, including right here in the Bronx. A shout out to all of you that were either watching or in Wildwood, New Jersey for that great rally on the beach there. I mean, that was quite the scene when you saw just walls and walls and lines of people that are supporters of this America First movement. We know that the situation we're dealing with right now is a very turbulent one, so we've got a lot going on. But that's why we're happy to see someone like President Trump and many in the conservative movement, whether you're in media or a podcaster, an influencer, or if you're in Washington, Eli Crane, Matt Gaetz, MTG. We've got people that understand and respect the American people. Obviously, we the people are supporting President Trump coming up in November, which is so close. I mean, we were thinking just a year ago how long that would be. But now we are less than 6 months until the election. We are about 35 days until the June 27th Biden versus Trump debate. Of course, that'll air on fake news CNN, so that will be interesting to watch. And that's what's awesome about President Trump. I mean, he'll step into any kind of ring and take on the establishment, take on the fake news, and take on sleepy/crooked Joe Biden. So if you want to flip that number around, so 35, let's flip it to 53. We're 53 days away from the July 15th Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. I was watching just the other day on YouTube, and of course, loving to watch things on Rumble as well. But I was watching back in 2016, the year of that election, when the silent majority, of course, stepped up and showed out at the polls and won that election fair and square. And it was a majority of people that voted for President Trump against Hillary Clinton, of course, in that year. But my point is that at the RNC then, when President Trump went out on that stage, sporting the red tie, supporting our country, all about law and order, all about our Constitution, all about freedom. What an awesome moment that was. The crowd, I mean, if you look at the video, it's pretty awesome stuff. So I took a 4-minute clip there, and maybe I'll post that on Truth Social. If you'd like to follow, it's at Matthew Alvarez. You can also follow Right Side Broadcasting, RSBN, at RSBN on Truth Social. But what a wild time that was in 2016. We know what happened in 2020, but here we are, fast forward to 2024, where President Trump leading in the polls, leading all around the country. Everywhere you go, you see the excitement, you see the people. They're not afraid. They're not ashamed. You see in Midtown Manhattan, every time President Trump is heading back up to Trump Tower, or even when he leaves, people are there to wave. People are there to hold signs. It's become kind of a tourist attraction, to be honest, seeing President Trump back in his home city. Of course, born in Queens, and did a great thing with building Trump Tower. I've been in Trump Tower there before, saw those golden escalators. If you get a chance, go ahead and check them out as well if you're in the New York area. Now, I'm going to be really transparent with you guys. You know, I don't really like New York anymore because of the law and order situation where things have gone so left and so woke here. You know, you think about safety, you think about the left-wing policies. But that's what I like about what President Trump is doing, and that's what the MAGA movement is doing. They want to make New York great again. New York was a great city. It is an awesome city. There's great people, but the problem is the law and order situation is an F-. It's doing so bad here. And that's not something that, you know, if I were to say that in front of a New Yorker, they'd probably agree with me. They'd say, you're right, we need to have law and order in this city. The people behind me would agree that New York is fallen from what it once was. So what can it become again? Just like for those of you watching anywhere in the country right now, or even around the world, you know, you want your area to be as great as possible. You want it to be safe. You think about that one question you ask anytime you move to a new area. Is it safe? Is it safe? Well, under President Trump, he would restore law and order. Yes, I'm a Donald Trump fan, but you know what I'm a fan of? Peace and safety and freedom. So that's why I'm here. And I want to thank you again for tuning in to Right Side Broadcasting Network. Real quick side note, my family is actually from New York City. My dad was born in Manhattan. My mom was born in Brooklyn. My sister was born across the Hudson River there in New Jersey. I was born in Pennsylvania. So a lot of New York history here. I actually once worked in this town. But to be on the right side of history, on Right Side Broadcasting Network, with colleagues in the press, even though they are fake news press, let's be honest, it's great to be able to speak about truth. It's great to speak about things that are needed in our country, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, and on, and to report facts, report accurate polls. And also, that's what's awesome about Right Side Broadcasting Network. You have a network here that will show you the truth, will show you the crowds, will show you the entire speech. That's something you don't get by anybody on the left, anybody in mainstream media. And it's pretty awesome to see that. So once again, if you'd like to follow as well on Truth Social, it's at RSBN. You can also go to our newsletter. So it's rsbnetwork.com/newsletter. You'll get some awesome exclusive coverage and some special things going on right there for you. You'll get that in your email inbox, and you'll be able to see a lot of great reporting by our staff at Right Side. So it's rsbnetwork.com/newsletter for that information. Once again, I'm Matthew Alvarez. It's great to see you again. I've been working with Right Side since 2022, November of 2022. Pretty awesome to be back here. And also, a quick shout out to Brian Glenn, my colleague. Thank you for all that you've done for the conservative media. And we're looking forward to seeing you soon, Brian. All right, let's take a live look here at Crotona Park as the Patriots are gathering here in the Bronx. So we are about 10 miles from Trump Tower. We're about 2 miles from Yankee Stadium. And as I said at the top of the broadcast, usually, and actually there's a Mattingly shirt here, a Yankees shirt here. Usually in the Bronx, it's "Let's go Yankees." Well, today, as I said before, it's "Let's go Brandon." And that was being chanted already. And I'm sure as the time gets closer and as President Trump pulls up with the Secret Service, with security, with the NYPD, who is all around this area, it would be quite awesome to hear the crowd go to the next level here, chanting for Trump and chanting for an America First candidate. Now, earlier today, here in New York City, there was a huge thunderstorm that hit. I mean, this thing, I might have to post that as well. I mean, we're staying at a hotel in Midtown Manhattan. This storm comes through. You can see the Empire State Building from the hotel. Not when that storm came through. It just covered the entire area in fog and clouds and rain and lightning. And it was a pretty powerful cell that came through because we were thinking, it's going to be kind of a inclement weather day here in New York City. Well, it was this morning, and it's cleared out for President Trump to arrive here once again at 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. So this is a great time today to send this to as many people as possible on Rumble, on YouTube. You can watch the RSBN app. You can go to rsbnetwork.com for the live feed that we're seeing right here as well. And you can pass that along to your friends and family as we report live here in the Bronx, which has a majority of people that are Hispanic. About 50 to 60% of the people in the Bronx are Hispanic. 1.5 million people live here in the Bronx. So I was looking at some statistics the other day. 1.5 million people, right? If the Bronx was a standalone city, it would be larger than Dallas, Texas. It would be larger than San Diego, California. That's just the Bronx. It's pretty wild stuff. So I was listening to 1010 Wins. If you're familiar with New York City, 1010 Wins is actually a really good radio station here. It's been here for years, decades. 1010 Wins will give you, if you give us 21 minutes, we'll give you the world. That's their motto, right? And their first lead story today, of course, is President Trump being here at Crotona Park in the Bronx. Of course, right away, since they are left-leaning, they have an interview with AOC and others talking about President Trump and how, he doesn't need to be here for various reasons. She's made the news a few times saying a bunch of interesting comments, but at the end of the day, what the people here want, and the people that were stopping us on the street just outside of this park want, is they want peace and safety, and they want freedom restored in this country. So that's what you will get under a conservative candidate. And that's what we're looking for under President Trump. But also a shout out to all of you that are running for office and that are in office, that are true patriots, that are we the people sponsored or we the people supported. It's great to have an overwhelming number of people in this country support the America First movement. You hear people talk all the time that 50% of the country or half the country is a Trump supporter or Trump supporters. I totally disagree with it being 50%. As you've seen on television, as you've seen on all kinds of social media, the support for President Trump is way over 50%, in my opinion. Have I done a poll? Is that scientific? No. But let's be real. If Joe Biden showed up to this, would we have this going on? We know that wouldn't be the case. And no matter who it would be on the left, this wouldn't happen. So it's pretty awesome to see this. Once again, I'm Matthew Alvarez live here. If you'd like to follow me on Truth Social, as well as Right Side Broadcasting Network at RSBN. So the president will speak at 6 o'clock here, and you know how that goes. Will he be here right at 6? We'll see. Maybe a little bit at 6:05 or a little bit after. We'll see what happens. But it's going to be quite the night here in the Bronx. Once again, a historic day, a historic campaign stop, because the last time this happened, where a Republican presidential or presumptive presidential nominee stopped in the Bronx for a campaign trail stop, was Ronald Reagan back in 1980. I was born in 1981. It's been 43 years since that's happened. So we'll see what President Trump has to say here. Now, will he talk for more than an hour? Will it be a 20-minute speech? We haven't been told yet, but we know that people, behind this meteorizer, there are still at least, I see at least a few hundred people, if not more, because the trees are blocking the area. But there's a lot of people still waiting to get in here. And it's pretty cool to hear some Frank Sinatra as well here live in New York City, the Big Apple, here in the Northeast. Let's take another live look at the Patriots gathered. Saw a number of people here. We saw Carly Bonnet from Truth Social as well. Forgiata below, the mayor of Magaville. Trump Latinos are here. And I'm sure there are many other America First and conservative either influencers or musicians, artists. Isn't that pretty awesome that we have many industries now that are conservative? And I just saw this kid, David. Actually, I'm going to go live down here, Denver, and we'll chat with this guy. What's up, man?
Hi,
how you doing? Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
So we are live here with David. I ran into him. Why don't you show him the shirt real quick?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So this is a New Hampshire shirt. So I was live in New Hampshire for the primary for about a week, from Nashua to all of the towns up there. And I saw this guy, and his face looked familiar. I did interview you, too, before, right?
Yeah, you interviewed me in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
There you go. So it's pretty funny. I said, well, how'd you get here? So tell us your story, man. How'd you get here, and are you here with friends and family? Or?
Oh, yeah, so no, come from a pretty liberal family. So I took the Amtrak down here. I wanted to see President Trump, saw or heard there was going to be a rally in the Bronx. I thought that was going to be super entertaining. So I decided to come down here. I've already met a lot of pretty interesting people. Saw Andrew Giuliani walking around here. He's a great guy. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm happy to be out here in New York, being able to see a Trump rally for the first time in New York. This is the first one here in the state, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. I loved seeing the crowd that we got here right now. A lot of people that are happy to see it.
So how long was that Amtrak ride down? I know the Northeast corridors are pretty busy.
Oh yeah, no, it took 3 hours to get down here. I ended up waking up at 4:30 just to get to South Station, Boston, grab some breakfast. But yeah, headed down here, arrived at 10. I was going to go to Trump Tower, but I'll make it tomorrow morning before I head out of here. But yeah, no, 3 hours, about 50 minutes on the MTA to get to the Bronx, but not too bad, honestly, to get here.
What are your thoughts about the president arriving here in the Bronx? This is the first time in 43 years that's happened. Ronald Reagan was here in 1980 when he was campaigning against Jimmy Carter.
So I didn't know that. It feels like I said, I didn't know that was the last time, but this feels really great to be here. I remember seeing videos a few months ago of people in the Bronx being asked if Trump had a rally here, would you go? And they all said yes. And I'm surprised. You see the turnout right behind me. This is fantastic. So yeah, as someone from Massachusetts, I say, President Trump, please come to Massachusetts. We want you to come there. We're not as liberal as you think, but yeah, I think that we're seeing a lot of states like Virginia, Minnesota, taking the same path as New York, New Mexico. Biden's one of the worst. He is probably the worst president that we've ever had. So yeah, at this point, I think it's everything is up for grabs for Trump at this point.
As President Trump says, it seems like Jimmy Carter looks a lot better than any other president, back in the day. So TD Garden in Boston, Trump rally. That'd be awesome, right?
Yeah, TD Garden, what's it called? There or Worcester, either one, Worcester, Lowell, or Boston. Come to Massachusetts, please. Come on, we really want you. Oh yeah.
Thank you so much, David.
Thank you. Nice seeing you.
Good to see you. Let's take a live look at the crowd here in Denver. As if you're a Yankee fan watching this thing right now, I mean, you might be like, hey, we like that he's in the Bronx where the Yankees are and not the Boston Red Sox. But you know what? A shout out to all of you watching in Massachusetts or here in the great state of New York. We're trying to see something happen where the country will be made great again. I mean, I don't know how people on the left-wing media or politicians lie and kind of cover things up. And what they do is they say, oh, there's 91 criminal charges. You know what? That's called 91 lies. He hasn't done anything wrong. We know he hasn't done something wrong. No criminal charges needed. It just goes to show we are dealing with a very crooked and terrible situation right now. But we will get to more live interviews and live coverage as you're taking a live look here in the Bronx. This is Crotona Park. Expecting more than 3,500 people here in the area. And let's get to this next great sponsor. So are you prepared for what's coming? Remember how difficult it was to get medical care during the COVID psyop? Well, sick people were left to fend for themselves, unable to receive the help they need. But now, with another election year upon us, the deep state knows that justice is coming. Like all cornered animals, they will be at their most dangerous as the election nears, and we need to prepare our bodies for their final psyop. So, introducing, as you see there on your screen, Zeolite Extra Spray from Epic Minerals. It's your ultimate defense against heavy metals and other toxins that compromise your health. Our powerful formula detoxifies your body, eliminating heavy metals and other poisons. So in the coming crisis, the ability to cleanse your system could mean the difference between life and death. So don't wait until it's too late. Arm yourself with Zeolite Extra Spray and ensure you're prepared for whatever the deep state throws our way. Stay vigilant, stay healthy. Epic Minerals, your defense against a toxic world. Go to epicminerals.net. Use that promo code RSBN to save 10% off your order. Back here live, right in the front here, front row of the media riser, we have another interview. What's your name, man?
Lou Valentino. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Nice hat, nice shirt.
Where's the camera?
Right there.
How y'all doing, man? It's good to see y'all.
That's what you want to do. You just wanted to smile in front of the camera like that.
I love them. They know I love them.
So your thoughts about this whole thing?
My thoughts are that the pressure is on. If you could see, I don't know, the line to get in here right now, it's like an hour plus long. And there's a lot of people coming out here. And it looks like, it just looks so diverse. It looks amazing. It looks beautiful. It is just defeating every narrative there is. And Democrats are about to have a hard time in November because now New Yorkers are probably going to wake up and start asking, who are the politicians representing me? And I think this is not about Trump. This is about the strategy of Trump coming here, putting pressure on them. And Democrats, they've been getting our vote for so long, man, for so long, for years, decades. What has changed? Poverty, not that many jobs out here. It's a struggle, so I'd like to see Republicans step it up, invest in the RNC here, start reaching out, making a difference. There is many ways and many organizations that do not get the recognition out here to stop gang violence, to support those. But I just don't see Republicans here, but I definitely don't see Democrats doing anything. So I think Trump coming here, that's why he's an anomaly.
Well said. I liked something you also said about the defeating the narrative, because we know that narrative is a constant lie. It's ridiculous. You turn on any of these networks and all they have left is lying and lying some more and propaganda. Am I right?
Well, they're here. I don't know if they're here.
Yes. I mean, here you go.
Well, they get to see Dominican flags. They get to see Jewish people. I see some Muslim people. I see everybody. And I think that's what today's about. Today's about unity. You know what it feels like? It feels like a baseball game. Everybody's rooting for America. That's the baseball team. And it looks like this is what the championship looks like. We all coming together, having a good time at the game. You know what I'm saying? That's the analogy. We all come together when we love that one team. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, this is beautiful. So many different personalities, so many different people. I don't care about the mainstream media. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Well, we got to talk about the beautiful people, the beautiful black women, the beautiful white women, all the women here. I mean, this is amazing. No.
I don't see a ring on your finger, so you might have to find yourself a date.
Nah, man. I do have a girl, but I do have to marry her at some point, and that's something that we need to push for. More of a conservative. I think New York has went too far left. Let's bring it to the middle a little bit. Let's get married. Let's start having kids, going to church, switching it up, because it is evil. That's what we're battling, man. And at the end of the day, it's a battle between good and evil. And choose your team. I know I chose mine.
Chose mine too, man. The Yankees, man. This is like, look at this guy. I mean, when I say Yankees, I don't mean I'm not a Yankee fan, but he's got the Mattingly shirt right there. But as you mentioned, if we went to the Bronx, we went to a Yankee game, we'd see all this.
Oh, yeah, all these people have one thing in common. Let's go Yankees. So think about America that way. I promise you, we'll get so far. Because we might have disagreements with Aaron Boone being the coach. I don't like that move that Aaron did. I don't like the move that the people up top are making. It's a lot of arguments, disagreements that we have, but guess what we want to do? We want to win. Let's bring it home. Let's bring it home. Let's bring change to America. I'm not saying that Republicans are the answer. I'm not saying that Democrats are the answer. We are the answer. We choose these people. They work for us. And I think that a lot of Democrats have, they've forgotten that. Why? Because they don't have to come out here. They don't have to campaign. People not paying attention to the politics. And, I'd like to see Opportunity Zones 2.0 in the hood, in the Bronx. I'd like to see, Trump really do what he needs to do, and I know he will. Bring more jobs to the community, bring money, and bring recognition to those nonprofit organizations that are trying to stop gang violence. And, that's how we get the head of the monster. And I believe that he could do that. I believe that people will do that.
If President Trump was watching right now, or anybody on the campaign, what would you want to say to them?
Have fun up there tonight, man. There's a lot of people that came out here to hear the message. Even though Democrats, their bully tactic, don't go out there. You shouldn't go out there and listen to the white supremacists. Well, we don't care about that. The thing about the Bronx, you tell us to not go left, we're going left. And you tell us not to go right, we are going right. And that's what it seems like today. And, bullying tactic is not going to work. People want to hear this. People are out there. We got a rapper by the name of Chef G out here. We got rappers. We got everybody. Let's have some fun. At the ball game, baby.
What's your first name again?
Lou.
Lou, listen.
Lou
I want to say, hold on one second. We got this. This guy would not ever make it on CNN or any of these other cable outlets. They would never have him sitting there in a nice suit.
Only Fox News, but you are right that the mainstream liberal media is definitely not going to have me on their show.
Yeah, I mean, even if they say, well, we need our Republican or we need our conservative, come on.
It's how it is. It's how it is. It's once again, election seasons are like this, right? They are. If crime is high, we will say crime is low. If the bad things are happening, we got to throw them under the table. Why? Because to them, democracy is on the line. So when you paint that picture for people, and you make people really scared that if I don't vote for Biden, World War III is coming, all these bad things are coming. But what are we living in now? We are living in a reality where Putin in Russia, he's threatening NATO. NATO's getting too close. Palestine, Israel, right? Like all these different, there's no peace through strength. I don't even hear people talking about, let's make a peace deal. Let's go to the table, please. I don't see our government officials saying we need peace no matter what. We have to find it. Some way how. Let's find it. 100%. I just don't hear that. So, we should be scared of that. We should be scared of those warmongers, Republicans and Democrats, the uniparty. That's what we should be coming against, and who's funding them? Who are their donors? What's going on? Are you working for the people or are you not? And once again, that's just what it is. And I saw, real quick, to end this, I saw AOC say, oh my God, thank God it's raining. Oh, you believe in God now. Thank God that it's raining. AOC, this might not be a district. I think this district is Richie Torres, but they're saying thank God it's raining. You know what AOC should have said, being from the Bronx? I don't like Trump. I hate his guts. But the people of my district and the people of New York City have the right to listen to whoever they want, even though I don't agree with them. And that they can make their own decision as to he's the bad guy or good guy. If she would have came out and said that, I would have been like, yo, AOC, I respect that. But the whole time, they're like, please, please don't listen to him. Oh, they're going to listen. They're going to listen.
All right, first and last name for the people watching.
Lou Valentino. I love y'all. RSBN in the building, man.
Thanks, dog. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, too.
All right, man. Hey, that was awesome. When you have those, people that are well-spoken, that are from the heart, always good to see that, especially at a Trump event, a Trump rally, a Trump campaign. Once again, Ronald Reagan was the last presidential nominee to stop at the Bronx for a campaign stop. That was in 1980. Well, here we go, 2024, the biggest election of all time. And we have President Trump taking on Joe Biden. Let's take a live look once again at the crowd here in Crotona Park. Once again, 10 miles from Trump Tower, about a mile and a half from Yankee Stadium. A lot of Yankee hats and Yankee shirts, but also a lot more on the side of red here as we are live, Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm going to double check that I'm still plugged in correctly here when it comes to the IFB system so I can hear the director back home. Yep, we are good. Once again, you could follow Right Side Broadcasting Network at RSBN, and there's a number of staff that you will be able to see. So if you look at who Right Side's following, right, it's about 96 or 7 people, 100 people. You can go ahead there and go ahead and follow a bunch of the staff as well, because this network, as you know, as you've grown accustomed to, has just embraced We the People, and We the People has embraced Right Side Broadcasting Network. A loud, huge voice in the media right now are We the People. And so why not cover the truth? Why not talk to the people that are voting for the candidates? That's what the country's founded on, right? So we the people are the bosses. We're the bosses. We hire, right? But obviously, as Lewis was just saying, the Democrats and a few of the Republicans have lost sight of that. And here we are, hopefully getting a nice reset, not a great reset, but just a reset, a general reset for our country. You remember, I'm thinking about Nintendo back in the day. I used to play, Super Tecmo Bowl or any of these video games. And if the game was not working right, you'd press the reset button or the power on or power off button. Or you take the cartridge out, you blow in the cartridge, whatever you had to do to make that thing work, and you made it work. So the analogy is simple. We vote. We work hard for election integrity with people like organizations like True the Vote, or causeofamerica.org with Mike Lindell, or precinctstrategy.com, where you get Christina Bob's book, Stealing Your Vote. You become a committee person. You become a poll watcher. You clear the voter rolls. There's so many things we can do in that nitty-gritty thing of that reset. And then, whether you're voting in person or via the mail or all of it, as President Trump said the other day, he literally said, I don't care how you're doing it, just do it. Vote, vote, vote. So we're less than 6 months from that. Again, let's get to those numbers. I think it was 35 days until the Biden-Trump debate on fake news CNN. And then flip 30. Let's listen in live right now here in the Bronx. USA! 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 Everybody having a good time right here in the Bronx. We can get to one of our great sponsors as well. I was just talking about causeofamerica.org. Speaking of Mike Lindell, use that.
Please welcome to the stage, Adam Solis.
How is everybody doing today? This is an honor, a privilege, and an absolute joy of mine to be able to speak in front of all of you today. I'd like to thank the New York Young Republican Club. I'd like to thank the Black Caucus, Jude Some Fun, the Hispanic Caucus, Algilio Rodriguez, and of course our President Gavin Wax. This is an incredible opportunity to speak here in front of you all today. I love the fact that I get to represent the Bronx, show the resiliency, the persistence, and the determination that we embody every single day. Today is going to be an incredible day because not only is it a history being made today, but an opportunity for the world to see exactly how the Bronx operates and who we truly support. Not only is the Bronx red, the Bronx is deep red. The traditions, the values, the morals, the nuclear family, everything that we stand for is here today. In each and every one of you, I would love for you all to give yourselves a round of applause for being here today. When I first took on this responsibility of representing the club, I understood that I would be ostracized and I would be looked at differently because I had a different way of thinking. But I always knew that whatever I thought was going to be the proper thought. I'm not interested in pandering. I'm only interested in enriching my community and watching us all progress forward. Today not only is a moment that we will all remember, but a moment that our families will look upon and see that we actually had the right side on our mind. This is an incredible day. I hope you all are proud of yourselves. We've done something incredible today. It's going to be an incredible event. Of course, you know, our president, President Donald J. Trump, is coming to speak. You know the Bronx is MAGA. You know how we give it up. Y pa mi dominicano y los boricua. Tú sabes que estamos aquí para todo el mundo y estamos aquí para progresar y seguir para adelante, porque nosotros somos de allá, pero creemos en Dios, patria y libertad. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have an incredible time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Andrew Giuliani.
Well, hello, New York! And hello... Yeah, AOC, you listen. Hello, Bronx. How you doing here? Now, I'm going to start with a very, very difficult question. All right, I want to make this tough. How many? And let's not be too loud on this. Don't be too loud. Don't be too loud. How many Yankee fans do we have here? Come on, I didn't hear you. How many Yankee fans do we have here? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Bronx has been graced with some of the greatest names in American lore. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Reggie Jackson, 3 home runs, Mr. October, Derek Jeter. We got to add Muhammad Ali in there, and I'd say... And the Pope, too, right? We got to add the Pope in there. Very, very important we add the Pope in there. Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we add a new legend to that list because Donald J. Trump plays the Bronx. Now, to all those counter-protesters outside right there, Yeah, I'm sorry to tell you, I think you guys are counter-protesting in the wrong place because there ain't no safe spaces here in the Bronx, is there? That's right. So I got to tell you, I've spent the last month in court every single day with President Donald Trump. And I have witnessed the persecution through prosecution that our 45th president and 47th president is going through on a daily basis. You have a Biden Justice Department that is prosecuting him. That's right. That's right. Look at the assistant district attorney. There's a guy named Colangelo. He was the number 3 guy in the Biden Justice Department. And he took a demotion that's unheard of in American legal history, to become an assistant district attorney. Why? It wasn't for the free lunches, I'll tell you that, ladies and gentlemen. It was to persecute Donald J. Trump. And you got a judge, by the way, in there whose daughter is profiting to the tune of, get this, $93 million. $93 million because she's making money off of Adam Schiff, Kamala Harris, who is not spending her time at the border, by the way. If anybody has seen what's going on, she is not spending her time at the border. Right? And Joe Biden. So that's how you know this guy is corrupt. But here's the thing about New York right now. Donald J. Trump has put New York on the table, and New York is going to go for Trump on November 5th, 2024. And I'll let President... And I'll let President Trump go through the reasons why the economy, an economy that had the lowest rate of unemployment since before man walked on the moon in 2019. What did Joe Biden do? He's back in the 20th century, according to him. So, that's where he is in his mindset. 2 foreign wars. Donald Trump, what did he do? He made sure that he ruled with leverage, right? Leverage, so people knew. But I'm going to let him explain all of that to you. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is a fun night in May, but you have a job to do. Every single one of us has a job to do. And that's to make sure we sure as heck go out and vote on November 5th, 2024. That you tell your friends that love Western civilization, that love this country, that they better go out and vote in 2024. Because if you want to have a country again, then you're going to go for Donald J. Trump. And just one more thing. You know, Babe Ruth, legend, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Mantle, the Pope, certainly the Pope, a legend, Muhammad Ali, Derek Jeter, the captain, I love him. I met my wife at the game that Derek Jeter got his last hit. That's true. But there's one thing that Donald Trump is going to do that none of those could ever do. He's going to make America great again. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. God bless America. God bless New York. God bless the Bronx. And God bless Donald J. Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Madeline Brame.
God bless America! Land of the free, home of the brave. This is a beautiful, beautiful sight to see. AOC, eat your heart out. Richie Torres, eat your heart out. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Madeline Brame. I am the CEO of Rescue Angel Consultants, LLC. I am also the state director of Blexit, New York, powered by Turning Point USA. Unfortunately, I am also the mother of a homicide victim. Sergeant Hassan Correa was killed in Harlem in 2018 by 4 people he did not know, nor had he done them any harm. Hassan was stabbed to death by these 4 people. All four were apprehended. The case was handled in Manhattan District Attorney's Office when Alvin Bragg took office in 2020. Boo! 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 His day one memo, he said to all of us New Yorkers that he would not be prosecuting crime. But we didn't know that that also meant murder and gang assault. Two other people charged and indicted for killing my son, he dismissed the complete indictments against both of them. He charged one with the bogus charge of assault with a shoe. Who has ever heard of assault with a shoe? Just like the bogus charges that they're making up about Trump, Alvin Bragg also made up a bogus charge for Mary Saunders. I'm here to tell y'all today that we're not going to listen. We're not going to listen to you people that are trying to disrupt this rally today. We're not going to listen to you. All right? We're going to drown you out because it's too serious. It's too serious. Times are too hard. People are struggling too damn hard. We're looking for Donald J. Trump not to be a miracle worker, but we're looking for him to bring some hope here to the South Bronx and to the entire state of New York. We're looking for him to deliver on what he says. We cannot, or he cannot, expect that our vote is a given, because it will not be a given. How many of you out there are lifelong Democrats who have walked away from the plantation of the Democratic Party and are now voting Republican because of the way that we were neglected and ignored and pushed to the side? Our communities, especially poor minority communities, let me make this clear. When I say poor, I mean black, white, Hispanic, Jewish, Asian. All of us are in this together. Italians, all of us are in it. All of us are in this together. All right? This is not a black issue. This is not a white issue. This is not a Democratic issue. This is not a Republican issue. This is a human issue. We got severe poverty in the Bronx. We got unemployment. We got crime. We got failing schools. We got dilapidated housing. We got abortion clinics on every damn corner. Not to mention liquor stores and weed spots and safe injection sites all over our communities. We're looking for Donald Trump to deliver for our communities, to make the major investments. Let's replace the drugs and the guns with hammers and nails and drills and steel workers. Use our young men. Use our young men that are involved in the criminal justice system to rebuild the housing. Use them, pay them decent salary so they can afford to take care of their children and their family and help lift us up out of poverty. Keep your welfare. We don't want your welfare. We want jobs. Create jobs. Decent paying jobs. Educational opportunities. Initiatives that'll help our young men avoid incarceration. Stop letting them go back in the street to commit more crime. Put real initiatives in place that will save their lives. Sometimes jail, sometimes people are not arrested, they're rescued. So when we continuously have this revolving door, we're actually setting our young men and women up to be killed, to kill themselves or someone else. This is a serious conversation. This ain't no joke. there are lives, human lives that are dead. Not to mention the fentanyl poisoning. How many lives were lost due to fentanyl poisoning? I also have a son, Rayvon, who got a hold of some bad cocaine that was laced with fentanyl. So I have 2 sons dead in the grave in less than 3 years. Hassan murdered, Rayvon fentanyl poisoning. These are real issues. I'm a real person. I go to work every single day, and I can't even afford to pay rent, or I have to make a decision to pay rent or buy food. I look at my refrigerator right now. My refrigerator is empty because I decided to do my laundry. Then we have the illegals flooding our borders, coming into our communities, sucking up the resources that we barely have. Why should we allow this to happen? Every last person here needs to rise up and get fighting mad, and make sure that you're registered to vote and go out there and you vote up and down the line, not just the presidency. The local elections are more important than the presidency. Get rid of AOC. Vote her ass out. Get rid of Richie Torres. Vote his ass out. I have nothing to lose. So I can stand up here and I can say this. None of you here are paid to be here. She got on color TV this morning and said that Trump busted in these people and paid everyone out here. Who here got paid to be here today? Are you here because you know that this is the time in history that you're in the right place at the right time and you need to be here today? We don't want the Republicans to take our vote for granted like the Democrats did for 50 years. Get Tina out. Oh, vote in Tina. I'm sorry. Tina Forte. That's right. And I also like to give a quick shout out to Latina Brown, and to Derek Gibson for organizing that pre-Trump rally that was over in the South Bronx the other day, which had a lot to do with the momentum that we have here today. So we need to keep this going, all right? We need to be true to who we are. Don't be afraid. Don't back down. Get down there, get out there, and vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Ruben Diaz, Sr.
Wow. If you are a Hispanic, si usted es hispano, diga huepa cuando yo cuente hasta 3, huepa para Donald Trump. 1, 2 y 3. 1, 2 y 3. 1, 2 y 3. Ocasio y Yujarau. Richie Torres. By the way, I am Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr., and in behalf of the people of the Bronx, in behalf of the New York Hispanic Clergy Organization, and in behalf of the Christian Community Church that I'm the pastor of here in the South Bronx, I would like to join all of you welcoming Donald Trump to the Bronx. Donald Trump is welcome here in the Bronx. Lo que ha hecho Donald Trump, what he has done today, unite the Bronx, black and Hispanic, paying respect to the Bronx. No one ever did that. Only Donald Trump. No one ever has come to the Bronx like this. Only Donald Trump. No one has cared about us like this. Only Donald Trump. No one has paid attention to us. Only. No one has looked at us. Only. No one has said the Bronx and the black and Hispanic in the Bronx have to be paying attention to. Only. Por eso, that's why today we are telling everyone else that our candidate for the next president of the United States is no one else. Only. No queremos a nadie más sino a que lo oiga. I want AOC to hear this. This is the South Bronx. This is our home. This is our borough. This is our county. We want Donald Trump. Donald Trump is welcome here. 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 Eso es así. Por eso, that's why I'm going to close. I mean, this is incredible. But I want to close my remarks by saying that I want you to join me. To join me. Raise your hand. Repeat with me. Today, I promise that I will vote for Donald Trump to be our next president of the United States of America. And I praise the Lord, our Savior, because He make a miracle. He giving us a beautiful day. They say that it's going to be thunderstorm. The thunderstorm is coming. He's here. Donald Trump. Dios me diga.
Well, if you are not fired up after listening to those speeches here in the Bronx in Crotona Park, just north of the Trump Tower, about 10 miles north, I don't know what else would get you pumped up. That was some great speeches, a lot of mic drops going on. Before we get to any more commentary, and also before we interview more people, I want to tell you about the freetrumpbook.com. At the end of the day, we know in education, a lot of these teachers or professors, they're trying to indoctrinate students, children, youth, elementary school, middle school, high school, college. But you know what? There's a book that's more for the younger crowd, but the point is, it's freetrumpbook.com, a great book by Mike Huckabee. So you see the information right there on your screen, a great sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Matthew Alvarez, live here in the Bronx. If you'd like to follow me, it's at Matthew Alvarez on Truth Social. And also, RSBN is at RSBN. some very emotional, power-packed speeches there by a number of people. I know that the one woman talking about fentanyl, the border situation, and the lack of law and order in New York. Obviously, two things that are part of President Trump's Agenda 47. Closing the border, the most massive deportation operation in our country's history. And speaking of historic, if you're just joining us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, this is a historic day in the Bronx. It's been 43 years since a presumptive presidential nominee of the Republican Party has stopped in the Bronx for a campaign stop. So you got to rewind all the way to 1980 for Ronald Reagan. Well, today, President Donald J. Trump going for his third win in the presidency, coming up in November 5th, not too long from now, of course. I want to thank you again so much for joining us. We are going to show you the crowd. We're going to do some interviews, and you're stuck with me for a little bit. So I hope you're enjoying the program. Once again, at Matthew Alvarez on Truth Social and at RSBN, President Trump leading in all the polls, leading in the key swing states. A shout out to you in North Carolina, Nevada, Georgia, Pennsylvania. We see you. We're with you. So obviously, great poll numbers from a Morning Consult poll, a Bloomberg poll, has Donald Trump leading. It's not only those polls. As I mentioned before, it's the boots on the ground. It's the people here. It's the people when it all started in Iowa of this presidential season or this cycle. And then to New Hampshire and Nevada, the Virgin Islands. You remember all that? Well, here we are, less than 6 months away from the biggest election of our lifetime. I know that there's a lot of, hype, right? The media always hypes things. I get that. But there are times for actual hype, in my opinion. This is huge. This is historic. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, but let's get to the wellness company, because this group, with this emergency info kit and the emergency kit, will help you regardless of what's going on, whether it's COVID or whether it's bird flu or whatever. There are a number of items in the wellness kit. You see that information right there.
Gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Representative Byron Donalds.
Hey, whoa. Listen, the word is that Donald J. Trump's going to be here in a couple of minutes. That's the word. And so I think it's really important right now to let all of New York know that the Bronx is now MAGA country. Hold on, let's get serious. Let's get serious now. Let's get serious. All through this country, Joe Biden and the crazy Democrats are destroying America. All through this country, they are raising prices more than you can afford. They are limiting our ability to actually make our own energy here in the United States so we can prosper. They leave our borders open and flood all of our cities, including New York City, with migrants who shouldn't be here. They are not leading on the world stage, and our enemies are on the move. They are suppressing your free speech. They are lying to you. They are cheating you out of the prosperity that should be yours. But in about 5 months, there is one guy who's going to turn all that around, and he's the 47th president, Donald J. Trump. Now, You guys got to channel louder, man, if you want that to pick up. But let me tell you this. Whoa. This is a family affair. This is for all of the people across our country. We say, let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Oh, I'm telling you, Bronx, you're making me feel good, because here's what I know. Your energy, your support, we're going to do something that the media says can't be done. The Democrats take New York for granted. They don't believe it will be done. But in November, we can turn New York State red. Last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to lead the stage because there's somebody I know y'all definitely want to hear from. I know you want to hear from him. In our politics, they tell us that black votes are Democrat votes. I mean, don't boo me, boo them. They're the ones with the camera, tell them. They tell us that if you're Puerto Rican or Dominican or Peruvian or Venezuelan or any other nationality out of Latin America, that you can't be a conservative. That's what they tell us. But I'm from Brooklyn, New York. And I know the conservative streak that is in the heart of New Yorkers. And so we're going to do a really big thing in this country in 2024. We're going to change politics. We're going to change the status quo. There are no racial votes in America anymore. There are American votes in America, and we are going to save the greatest country man has ever known. Hey, real quick, I want to let y'all know, because I knew I was coming to the Bronx. I was in my pinstripe suit and everything. Got to make sure, because you never know who shows up. But New York, man, I love y'all too, New York. Let's do something amazing. Let's do something spectacular. Let's do something monumental. Let's together make America great again. God bless you, New York. God bless the United States of America.
All right, that was Congressman Byron Donalds of the state of Florida, originally from BK, Brooklyn, New York, here in the Bronx. The crowd has their phones up, thinking President Trump's going to step to the stage any second. But having covered a few of these events, at this point, I don't think it'll be in the next 10 or 20 seconds, maybe a little bit after that. But we do want to get back to thanking our great sponsor. You know, the wellness company, they have this kit, and it's prescription only. You can't find anything like it in a store or a pharmacy, and every American should have at least one of these kits in their home. You can have one in the home, you can have one in the car if you're traveling. Ordering your kit takes less than 2 minutes and couldn't be simpler. All you got to do is go to makecaregreatagain.com. Use code RSBN to purchase your kit with $45 off and free shipping. So whether it's bird flu or monkeypox, COVID, cyber attacks, or drugstore shortages, you'll have what you need no matter what. Safeguard your health today by going to makecaregreatagain.com and use RSBN at checkout to save. Kits are only available in the United States. And we also want to tell you about, obviously, a very common sense situation here where there's a reason gold is pushing to all-time highs right now. Actually, there are several reasons. The cost of goods continues to rise despite interest rate controls by the Fed. Since January of 21, the cost of living is up 17.9%. The national debt continues to skyrocket, now above $34 trillion, causing many to worry when the house of cards will come crashing down. So a presidential election year that will have massive implications on the future of this country is around the corner. So all of this adds up to instability and uncertainty. That's why so many Americans are turning to Birch Gold Group. So have you diversified your savings yet? Secure a portion of them with gold from Birch Gold. Text Trump to 9098 and get your free info kit. Once again, text Trump to 9098. The crowd here in the Bronx packed house in front of this media riser, and to the left and to the right. And I'm looking behind the media riser at this point as well. And what I see are still hundreds, if not thousands of people. It's really hard to see because we're here at Crotona Park, right? If you've ever been to Crotona Park, a lot of trees around. But from what I'm seeing, as Kid Rock is rocking here, not live, but of course behind us with the music. Whew. Okay, so, but my point is, yes, Kid Rock is an American, you know what, a bad, you know what. Follow him on Truth Social. Quite loud here, but I can tell you again, thousands of people waiting to get into this rally. This is going to be quite awesome. Already the energy is high. The chants, you know, when you're in New York, the chants just happen. If there's an expletive in the chant, they're just going to do it. They don't care. So obviously, I'm not going to go there, but I will go to this. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go Yankees, a loud chant at Yankee Stadium. Let's go, Brandon, a loud chant here. And you'll be hearing that throughout the night as you hear USA, USA, USA as President Trump arrives. So let's reset a little bit. My name's Matthew Alvarez. You are watching live Right Side Broadcasting Network from the Bronx. We are 10 miles north from where Trump Tower is. You always see President Trump when he's on his way to the lawfare sessions that happen, waving to the crowd, and then on his way back. There are people lining the streets, as I mentioned earlier. It's kind of a tourist attraction here in New York City. People waving, showing the signs, showing support. It's not just because President Trump is a fun guy or a cool cat. It's because he stands for the American people. And we've seen it time and time again from 2016 to 2020. Were there any new wars? Was our border more secure? Was the Constitution the law of the land? Many would say it's still the law of the land. I agree. But actions speak louder than words. Is it really the law of the land right now? Do the Democrats and do some of the rhinos, do they want the Constitution, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, do they want that to continue? I would say the answer is a big, fat no. They don't want it. We know it. And we see what's happening now. So, President Trump expected to speak at 6 o'clock Eastern. It's now 13 past the hour here on the East Coast, 6:13 p.m. Somebody asked me earlier, they said, what time do you think he'll come on? I said 6:42. So we'll see if I'm right. 6:42 p.m. Maybe President Trump will show up, maybe in the next 5 minutes, who knows. But we do want to thank you again for joining us here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Let's take a live look right now here at the crowd, as this is unfiltered, unedited live footage right here on Rumble, on YouTube, on the RSBN app and on rsbnetwork.com. If you'd like to donate to this network, it's rsbnetwork.com/donate. All the lights, the camera, the correspondents in the field, the studio. You know, we're not backed by any of those left-wing corporate, people. I have nothing against corporations. I do have something against the corporation that is a woke corporation, right? It's a free market, capitalist society. That's great. Make money. Awesome. But what I'm saying is there aren't many huge corporations that are conservative driven. So if you have a chance, whether it's literally $1, I know times are tight. Trust me, I know. Inflation is awful. Wages are down. Gas is up. Rent, I get it. Literally, I'm not saying $1,000. I'm just saying $1, $5, whatever. Go ahead and donate to Right Side Broadcasting Network. Also, Right Side Broadcasting Network, we have an awesome newsletter. Go to rsbnetwork.com/newsletter for some exclusive reports and keep tabs on all of what's going on in the America First movement and everything President Trump and this campaign. You can tell that the free world wants President Trump in office. We, the people of this nation, want President Trump in office. And now I'm talking about a certain percentage. Of course, I know that there are liberals that don't want him in. I get it. But a majority of the people of this land and a majority of the people in Brazil. I mean, think about it in Brazil. I love talking about Brazil. I don't know. They love their country and they love Jair Bolsonaro. He's the real president of that nation, a good friend of President Trump. Those people, the Portuguese-speaking and Spanish-speaking, English-speaking people of Brazil, they want to see President Trump win. They want to see Bolsonaro back in office. So if somehow President Trump isn't the next president, the 47th president of the United States, what are we facing? We're facing the likes of Canada and Brazil and China, and hopefully not worse. Social credit scores, like in China, right? Control of the population. Propaganda to the nth degree. This is the free United States of America. This is why this place is packed with people of all backgrounds. This is why people from all across this country, everywhere that you've seen Right Side Broadcasting Network live feeds from, it's been just packed with excitement and with joy. So once again, it's all about Let's Go Brandon here instead of Let's Go. I mean, it's Let's Go Yankees, but it's also Let's Go Brandon. I mean, everybody having a good time here. If the studio can repeat what you were saying there. In the meantime, the crowd getting ready. Also, want to let you guys know that you could actually donate in the chat and leave a message for President Trump because he reads our feed. So that's directly from the studio at Right Side Broadcasting Network. He actually pages through and reads what you guys put in there. So on Rumble, go ahead and look in the chat there. Say things that you'd like to say to President Trump. Say things that you'd like to say to Right Side Broadcasting, but also, again, you can donate within there. Assist this network. We're here for you guys. I'm here for all of it, too. Like, we're here together. We want to show you the crowds. What a great moment right now here in the Bronx. People just smiling, having a good time. I'm going to interview some people here. Let's take a live look at the crowd as they step down from the media riser and get ready to interview some folks. What's going on, man? What's your name?
David.
David, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What are your thoughts about this fun scene here?
It's an historic event, that I can tell you. It's something that we did not expect. I don't think anyone in the world expected it, to have such a diverse situation here of a crowd. I think the majorities are minorities here, actually. The majority is a minority group here. African Americans, Hispanics, Jews, white, working Americans, college educated, non-college educated.
Are you a Trump impersonator?
No, I'm not.
Sounded like it for a second.
I'm not. There's people that can do it actually better than me, but it's just a great place to be right now. I think this energy, this is what New York needs throughout the year, because New York has been through some tough times. The economy is not good. Crime is up. The migration problem is like, especially here in this region, in this area, it's incredible the mess that a small group of people can do to a state and to a country, and we're here to support this president. You know, he's the guy.
Amen. What would be some of your messages right now to people watching? Just what would you say to encourage them?
Again, if you basically get to work, because all hands on deck. All hands on deck. This is probably the most important election that is coming up, because we're like so down the wrong path that it's like the chances are slim, and we got to work hard. If you're not registered, register to vote. Get out to vote. All hands on deck. We got to make sure to bring this win home, and hopefully New York will change for the better, and New York will turn red. It's a hard thing to do, just statistically the numbers, but we got to do our part. And
finally, do you think that law and order and part of President Trump's Agenda 47 policies will actually make a change for New York City if NYPD is free to do what they have to do? Obviously nothing illegal, but just enforcing the law.
I think there's only some things that the federal government can do and help. I think local politics is where everything starts, but of course Trump is in, and you got the federal government behind law enforcement. You got the federal government behind lowering migration, everything about the immigration situation, I think, is the most essential part for, the Trump presidency and the federal government. I must say, criminal justice reform wasn't a promise that Trump said in 2016. Like, we didn't hear at rallies, we want criminal justice reform. We heard build that wall. And sadly, the wall has been built, partially, but this is not what we wanted. We wanted a wall throughout our southern border, a complete stop of our immigration policies, illegal immigration. So, we need to get back to that. We need to get tough on crime and tough on immigration. I think that's the two keys here in New York.
Hey, man, David, nice to meet you, man. Nice to meet you.
All the time, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You guys want to talk to us real quick? Anybody? Come on, turn around here. All right, next guy. Let me see that shirt real quick. 45 and 47. We should add 46, if you know what I mean. Hey, what's your name? Don't forget, fireaoc.com. There you go.
That's right.
What are your thoughts about this place, man?
I love it. I hope it gets back to the old days, the 80s and 90s, like when Reagan was in office. That's what we need. All this bullshit with Chuck Schumer. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Chuck Schumer. It's a joke.
So back in 2016 when President Trump won, what were your thoughts right away? Were you like, okay, what's going to happen? Or did you know, hey, man, this guy's going to do good for us?
I was with him from the beginning, man. I mean, the guy's a smart man. Everything he does comes out amazing. And, everybody's going to spread lies, and that's what happens in this world. They don't want anybody to make it. They all got to make their money under the table.
Here we go.
Gentlemen, please welcome the next president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you very much. This is some turnout. This is some turnout. And I want to thank New York's finest. They just brought a lot of additions. So we have people, thousands of people outside that can't even get in, but they'll get in eventually. We appreciate it. New York's finest. Hello, New York City, and hello to all of the incredible, tough, strong, hard-working American patriots right here in the Bronx. Who would think? Who would think? I'm thrilled to be back in the city I grew up in, the city I spent my life in, the city I helped build, and the city that we all love, New York City. And I'm here tonight to declare that we are going to turn New York City around, and we are going to turn it around very, very quickly. We're going to bring safety back to our streets. We're going to bring success back to our schools. We're going to bring prosperity back to every neighborhood and every borough of the greatest city in our land. We're going to reduce taxes. We're going to bring businesses and big taxpayers back to New York. Gotta bring them back. Gotta bring them back. And we're going to make New York bigger, better, and more beautiful than ever before. And that includes right here in the Bronx. And it's going to be done and funded starting on January 20th, directly from our great and beautiful White House. Is that okay? For my whole life, I always thought that this city is a monumental testament to the power of the American spirit and the American dream. When New York started as a small, rugged Dutch trading post near the tip of Manhattan in 1624, what you see around you is nothing more than wilderness and marsh. But by the muscle and backbone and genius of the people of New York, we built the city into the towering forest of iron, aluminum, concrete, and steel. We made this city and state into the capital of global commerce. We turned our hometown into the bustling center of a confident, glamorous American culture, and we inspired the entire world. We inspired the world. No matter where you went on this planet, everyone knew that when you said, "I'm a New Yorker," it meant you had smarts, you had grit, you had energy, and above all else, you had heart. You had heart. Big, big, beautiful heart. Everybody wanted to be here. New York was where you came to make it big. You want to make it big, you had to be in New York. But sadly, this is now a city in decline. Throughout my life, I've seen New York through good times and bad, through boom times and crime waves, through market crashes and terrorist attacks, but I've never seen it quite like this. We have filthy encampments of drugged-out homeless people living in our places that we've spent so much time with children where they used to play. We have lunatics killing innocent bystanders by pushing them onto the railroad tracks for sport. Our it's a sad thing. Don't worry, it gets positive. Don't worry. It gets so positive. Remember, we're going to win. We're all winners. We're going to win so big, we're going to make it bigger and better than ever before. Remember that. So don't worry. By the time the other 6,000 or 7,000 people get in, it'll be very positive. Our subways are squalid and unsafe. The ceiling tiles are falling down, and they look worse than a third world country. The medians of our highways are crumbling. Our sidewalks are littered with garbage, bottles, and trash. But worst of all, the discarded needles from people that so desperately are in need of help. And we have mobs of migrants fighting our police officers and giving America the middle finger. But we are not going to let this continue. We are not going to abandon our hope and our pride. This city has given us so much, and now it is time that we are going to give it back. Together, we are going to make New York City great again, and simultaneously, we are going to make America great again. Thank you. I have come tonight to talk about solving problems. The simple fact is Joe Biden is not getting the job done for the Bronx. He's not getting the job done for New York, and he's not getting the job done for America. He is incompetent, ladies and gentlemen. He is grossly incompetent. I will get the job done as I did for 4 years, and I will get it done fast. And remember this, if a New Yorker can't save this country, no one can. No one can. Get me the snake, please. The snake. Thank you, everybody. What a crowd. This is something. You know, we wanted to keep it small because who knew? This is like a love fest. Love fest. It's a love fest. We love you. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Wow. Who said we're not going to win New York? We're going to win New York so bad. You know, if we win New York, we win the whole thing. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? We'll take back our country and we'll do a job like nobody's ever done before. And what we did for 4 years was incredible, but we also learned a lot. We're going to get in there very fast with the right people, great people, people that are tested and true. Years ago, there was an ice skating rink, the Wallman rink in the middle of Central Park. You know that story? that had been under construction for more than 10 years. They couldn't get it open. It was a renovation. They couldn't get it done. Mayor Koch was at his wits' ends. They just couldn't get it finished. They couldn't get it built. They couldn't get it open. People wanted to skate before their children turned old. Almost $20 million was spent over a long period of time. It was an embarrassment to the city. Every day they'd be laying the copper pipe, and every night that same pipe would be stolen. And then they'd start all over again the next day, and it would be stolen. This went on weeks and weeks and months and months. They poured the concrete in small patches in wrong directions and at different heights. And they took their advice from a refrigerator company from Miami, where it's 95 degrees out. It was a total mess. They just didn't know what they were doing. And I saw this, and I wanted my children to be able to ice skate before. They didn't care about ice skating. I looked down on the rink, and I said, what is going on? Years and years. So I volunteered, and I took over the project and did a good job. And when I took it over, I said that if it cost more than $2 million, I would pay for it, the entire amount. But it cost far less. The first thing I did was call the Montreal Canadiens hockey team in Canada. Right? Isn't that better than a refrigerator company from Miami? They didn't know what we were talking about. But the Montreal Canadiens knew, and they were really nice. I'll never forget how nice they were. And they told me that you don't want to use copper tubing and gas because the gas is very delicate and it leaks. It's very fragile. It just doesn't work. You want to use rubber hose. I said, I like that. That's a lot cheaper. Water and salt. The salt makes it so the water doesn't freeze. It's called brine. And you're going to put that under the concrete. You're going to pour the concrete over the top. It's going to be great. It's going to work. Not going to leak. It's cheaper, faster. And it works all the time. And when we opened, there were no leaks. There were no problems whatsoever. Anyway, I started the project, laid the rubber hose, mixed the water and the salt beautifully together. I was down there when they were doing it. I said, you got to do it right. And covered the entire rink with concrete in 4, literally, you had to see this scene, concrete trucks operated by the Teamsters. Do we have any Teamsters here? Oh. Oh, you got to make sure that O'Brien, he's a good man. He endorses Trump. I think he's going to, actually. But the Teamsters, it stretched all the way. You had trucks stretching all the way from the Woolman Rink, which was, let's say, at 60th Street, all the way back to Harlem. One contiguous pour. It was a day and a half of pouring concrete. One contiguous, a giant surface. As you know, the rink was completed in just 3 months for far less than the $2 million projected. The biggest expense was actually the demolition. That is the demolishing of everything that was built so incorrectly, so badly over a 10-year period. The biggest cost was demolition, taking it all down and starting all over. We opened with a ceremony with all Olympic gold medal winners, including the great Peggy Fleming, Dorothy Hamill, Scott Hamilton, and all of the others. Every one of them was there. It was a beautiful night, beautiful weather. I'll never forget the evening. It was one of the most beautiful. My parents were there. Now they're looking down on us. They say, wow, that's my son. Can you imagine? That's my son. Can you imagine? He's being tried in a court with a crooked judge. Can you believe this? Can you believe it? And highly conflicted judge at that. But everybody was there, and it was really something to behold. It was an incredible experience, and one of the great experiences of my life in New York. We opened it. It's been successful, and successful ever since. What a great, great experience. It was beautiful. And, you know, a lot of it's common sense. You'd like to say the Republican Party is the party of common sense. You don't go to Miami when you want to make ice. You go to Canada when you want to make ice, right? Or you could go right down the road in the Bronx to Ferry Point, right? Everybody know about Ferry Point. It was another disaster, a development where the city had spent over 29 years, almost $300 million trying to develop it into a luxury golf resort, anything. They'll take anything. They were spending money. You know, trucks were going here, dumping, getting filled up. moving it here, dumping, getting filled up with the same stuff. This went on for years, back and forth, the same stuff. They were feather bedding. They were doing lots of bad things. But really, they didn't know how to get it done. They had no idea how much money they were spending. And when asked how much they spent, they said, we just don't know. That's been going on for years, decades. They were unable to do it. And at the time, the mayor, Michael Bloomberg, said, no, it's all right. It's okay. Now, Michael Bloomberg was the mayor, and he called me. He said, I have to get this done before I finish my term. It was very important to him. He was embarrassed by it. Everybody was embarrassed. It was Mayor Koch. It went through a lot of different mayors. Almost 30 years, remember that. And he said, in all fairness, he said, I want to get this done, and you're the one that can do it. You're the only one that can do it. And I said, and I will do it. I will get it done. And we got it done before he finished his term, which was great. But there were no other bidders to my knowledge. And I took over the project, spending only my money to build it. And I called all of the contractors together. These were tough people. These were tough, hard people. Many of you are probably contractors on that site. Come to that. And I said, look, fellas, you guys have made a fortune on this thing for years and years against the city. It's time we get together and build it. Let's get it built. Let's do it right. And let's get the hell out of here. We owe it to the city. And they worked so hard. The roughest, toughest contractors in New York. They had spirit like you've never seen before. And it was magnificently designed by the great Jack Nicklaus, who told me, I don't want to make any more money. They paid me enough. Everybody get paid a fortune. Jack said, I don't want money. I just want to see it get built for the people of New York. And that's what we did. But everybody, just like Jack, they said very similar things. These guys were rough and tough, and they made a lot of money, but you'd think they'd want to make more, but they didn't. They just wanted to get it built. And in just a little more than a year, so this was going on for 30 years, including, think of it, just a magnificent thing to watch. You had to watch these people working, just the opposite of what took place for the first 29 years. But we had a magnificent world-class golf course that many of you have played now, and it's rated as one of the best public courses in the country. And then a short while later, we built a beautiful clubhouse, one of the prettiest I've seen, built it, completed. The project was absolutely beautiful. It opened to great fanfare and great success. And do you want to hear the end result, though? Should I? Yeah. Should I go off teleprompter and tell you the end result? You think Biden goes off teleprompter? I don't think so. He's no good on teleprompter. No, but okay, so I did this beautiful job. And then we had a dispute over January 6th. We had a dispute. And they said, January 6th, we want to terminate his agreement with the city. I had a long-term agreement with the city. And they sent me a notice of termination. I said, wait a minute. I just spent $25 million building it, built this magnificent clubhouse. It's in full operation. It took you 29 years. You were spending hundreds of millions of dollars. You couldn't get it done. And the neighborhood came to court totally for me. The Bronx neighbor. It's in the Bronx. It's on the East River in the Bronx. And we went to court. The city sued to break my agreement that they had just made. And I had done such a great job for them. And it was accolades everywhere. Golf Magazine, all of the big magazines were saying, what a great job. They terminated my agreement. And I went to court. And I will tell you, I had a very good experience. We had a Supreme Court justice named Deborah James. And I have to give her credit. I didn't know her, never met her. Deborah James, a African-American woman who came to my defense. We explained it, and the city explained it. They said, we want to terminate it. They had no reason. And we said what we just said. And she looked at them, and she said, in effect, how dare you? This man came in. He put up his own money. He did an incredible job. You were building it for 29 years. How dare you ask for this to be terminated? How unfair is that? Deborah James, a great Supreme Court justice. That's all I can tell you. And we won the case. But it's not easy doing business in New York, I'll tell you. Not easy. So I just appreciated that I had to tell that story. And As you know, then I renovated Grand Central Terminal. I built the Grand Hyatt Hotel on 42nd Street and Park Avenue. And as part of that, I renovated the beautiful Grand Central Terminal, did a really good job of that. And then I was very much responsible for the construction of the Jacob Javits Convention Center, where Hillary Clinton was going to have her big evening. That was not good. Remember? We had the glass ceiling. You know, we built glass ceiling. She said, we're going to break the glass ceiling. It didn't work out. You know, I'll tell you a little secret that I don't think I've ever... I hated the concept. I said we have to get on with our country. We have to win against Russia. We have to win against China, North Korea, all the different countries we're at loggerheads with. But as long as you have a smart president, you're going to win those battles. We're winning all those battles, even with the fake Russia scam, which made it harder. But you hated that. And then you see what they want to do to us, to me, to us. And they come along and they don't mind, because Joe Biden is the worst president in the history of our country, has no sense, doesn't know what he's doing, grossly incompetent, and our country's going to hell, but we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around fast. Because above all else, and I say this and I believe this on New Yorkers, you are different. You do know that. You know that when I called for this rally, we said, let's just have a meeting. Don't call it a rally. And so many people showed up. I said, like it or not, this is a rally. This is as far as the eye can see. You have to see the lines outside. They're going for miles. But when we saw it and we saw the love, because I called up this morning, do the people like me or do they hate me? They said, they don't like you, sir. They love you. I said, oh, thank you. So I appreciate it. And I love you, too. But above all else, boy, look at all the cameras back there. That's amazing. That's the fake news. Yeah. You know, they'll say tonight, Donald Trump spoke to a very small crowd of people in the Bronx. It was a very hostile crowd, very hostile. They hated him very much. No, sometimes they're okay. You know, I agreed to do a debate with crooked Joe Biden on CNN with fake Tapper. And I think they'll be fair. Does anybody think they'll be fair? I might be. No. That's all right. When they said, here's your story, you can have a debate on CNN with fake Tapper as the primary host. And I said, I'll do it. Because you know what they thought is you'd say CNN and they'd say various people on the show, various anchors, and, you know, headed up by fake Tapper. And they thought I was going to reject it. I don't want to do it. Then Biden would say, I offered to debate, but he wouldn't do it. So they said, we want to have a debate. I'll take it. Well, we haven't even told you what the debate is all about. Then they said, today, they said, we'd like to set up tables so you sit down. I said, I don't want to sit down for a debate. Let's go. At some point, so we're not sitting down. We're going to be standing up for the debate. And here's what you know. If crooked Joe Biden makes it through the debate, which I think he will, they're going to say it was one of the great debate performances in history. One of the greatest debate performances. But there they are. And we're on every network tonight. I don't know what's going on. We're on Fox. We're on all of them. So have a lot of fun, but we're on all of them. So they understood. They understood before anyone how big this would be. And you got to see what's back there coming in. Thank you. Thank you. But above all, New Yorkers have something called common sense, and we do have common sense. An old-fashioned American common sense is exactly what I intend to bring back to the White House, just like we had for 4 years. You know, we had 4 of the greatest years in the history of our country. We rebuilt the military, we cut taxes, the biggest tax cut in history, the biggest regulation cut in history. We defeated ISIS. We defeated ISIS, and we did it in about 1/100th the time. They said it would take 4 to 5 years. It took me like 2 months, right? Because we have an incredible military, and we're not allowed to show. They had Afghanistan, the worst pullout, the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. It's probably the reason, a piece of it, why Russia went into Ukraine. They said, these people are incompetent, we'll go in. So Russia going into Ukraine would have never happened. None of this stuff that you see would have happened. Israel would have never happened, the attack on October 7th, and you wouldn't have had inflation. As soon as I get back into the Oval Office, I am going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call your mayor and your governor, and I'm going to say, this is President Trump, and I want to come back and help. Look, you have a Democrat governor, you have a Democrat mayor, and we are going to work with them, and we're going to get this state and this city at a level that it's never seen before, frankly. I think we can do that, too. We're going to be helping them a lot, much more than anybody would expect. It doesn't matter whether they're Democrats or Republicans, because this is about our city and our country, and it's really about the people. And in this case, the people of New York City, New York State. We're going to make you very, very happy. And Biden can't do it. He doesn't know he's alive. You know, see all the stairs here? Stair, 2 of them behind me, 1 in the middle. When he's finished with his 2.5 minute, you know, do you ever watch his speech? They last for about 1.5 minutes. When he's finished with his speech, he can never find the stairs. He can never find the stairs. And when he does, it's not a pretty picture either. Thank goodness for Secret Service. They come up and they guide him off. No, this is not what we need. When you see President Xi of China, when you see Kim Jong-un of North Korea, when you see Putin, and you see all of these people, they're at the top of their game, whether you like it or not, and they can't believe that this has happened to the United States. We have lost respect all over the world. We were the most respected country in the world 4 years ago. We were respected more than our country was ever respected 4 years ago, and now we're being laughed at. We're like a joke, and that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. We're going to do whatever it takes to fix our roads, bridges, and highways. We're going to take back our parks, not just for children, but for everybody. We're going to renovate New York's subway system so it no longer looks like it hasn't been cleaned since 1932, but rather it will be the most beautiful transit system anywhere in the world. I don't know if you know it. It's by far the biggest infrastructure, subway infrastructure in the world, and we're going to make it by far the biggest, and now we're going to make it by far the best. We're going to make it beautiful again. And a lot of it is topical. You know, the expensive work people don't understand because they're not in construction. It's topical work. It's topical. It's built. The expensive, the hard, the labor, the money, the big stuff is done. We're going to make it beautiful. We're going to make it good. And most importantly, we're going to let New York's finest do its job. The transit cops do their job. We're going to make it safe. Most importantly. And importantly for the people that are before me today, we are going to make life in New York affordable again. It's gotten totally out of control. The minute crooked Joe Biden shuffles out the door, I will rapidly rebuild the greatest economy, the history of the world. Look, we had the greatest economy in history. Everybody here, where you have a small business or if you had a job, you were getting more than you ever made. And we had no inflation. We had no 1.4%, considered none, considered better than none, because frankly, none in its own way is a bad thing also. We had a perfect number, 1.4%. It doesn't matter whether you're black or brown or white or whatever the hell color you are. It doesn't matter. We are all Americans, and we're going to pull together as Americans. We all want better opportunity. I'm not just going to promise it. I'm going to deliver it as I did just a short while ago. Think of it. You know, when I went down to Washington, I was only there 17 times. I never stayed over. I didn't know that society. And we had great people. Look at what we did with economic development, with the rebuilding of our military, with the tax cuts, we had great people. But we also had some people that I wouldn't have used if I had my choice. Now I know everybody. I know the smart ones. I know the dumb ones. I know the killers. I know the weak ones. I know them all. And you're going to see. But everyone was better off. We had the greatest economy in history. Everybody was better off under a man named President Donald J. Trump. Have you ever heard of him? Have you heard of him? We had gasoline down to $1.87 a gallon, and actually times when it was much lower than that. We had a record low poverty rate for black Americans and Hispanic Americans. We had the best poverty rate in terms of the positive number ever in our history for black Americans and Hispanic Americans. We lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty. Nothing like that has ever happened in our country. And the real middle class income rose over $6,000 a year. Think of that. Under Biden, it's a disaster. Real middle class income has fallen over $2,000 a year. That's a lot. That's a difference of $8,000. Real earnings for African Americans are down 5.6%. African Americans are getting slaughtered. Hispanic Americans are getting slaughtered. And these millions and millions of people that are coming into our country, the biggest impact and the biggest negative impact is against our black population and our Hispanic population, who are losing their jobs, losing their housing, losing everything they can lose. They're the ones that are affected most by what's happening. Not only the fact that you've lost the use of your schools, your parks, and your hospitals. Joe Biden's inflation. Do they have that? Do they have it? Speaking of the wall, so we built much more wall than we built 571 miles of wall. We had the safest border in history. We were going to put up within a period of 3 weeks. It was all built, laying there, ready to be put up, designed by the Border Patrol, who are incredible people, ICE, who are incredible people, all together. I wanted to put up concrete plank for the contractors here. They didn't want it. They had to have hardened steel. They wanted 6,000, 7,000 pound concrete. They wanted rebar in the middle. They wanted different materials, harder to cut. So we had very hard steel, very good stuff. Everything was good. We had the panel on top. It was called an anti-climb panel. We had the best wall. And it was going to bid. We were going to add 200 miles of wall. It would have taken about 3 weeks. And then we had the rigged election. And you know what happened after the rigged election? They took the wall, and instead of putting it up, they sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. And I said, these people really do want to have an open border. And that's what's happened to our country. Our country has gone to hell because of it. It's gone to hell. But I want to thank Mexico. I want to thank, because I went to Mexico. We really have no choice. He said, send him back. There's a chance, send him back. Nobody wants to send anybody back, but you have no choice. This is not sustainable by any country, right? This is not sustainable. But we had Mexico, and we went to Mexico, and I said to the president of Mexico, good man, by the way, a very good guy, happens to be a socialist, but these are minor details. I said to him, Mr. President, we need you to give us 28,000 soldiers to guard the wall. He said, well, how much would you pay for that? I said, nothing. I'm not paying anything. You're sending them in. They're coming in caravans. You have to do it. And he smiled and he laughed. He thought it was funny. He thought it was like, I was kidding. I said, no. They're coming in through Mexico. We need 28,000 soldiers, free of charge. And he said, Donald, I cannot do that. I said, here's what you do. I don't want to embarrass you, so I'm not going to negotiate with you. Send me a negotiator. Give me a top negotiator. I want to see him. And he came to the White House, a very handsome man. dressed in one of the most beautiful suits I've ever seen. In fact, I was going to ask him, who is your tailor? I'd like to buy one of those suits, but I didn't think it was appropriate to start the negotiation that way. And I said, you know that you're going to give us 28,000 soldiers, don't you? No, 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 we are not going to. We will never do that. I said, of course you're going to. 100%. He said, we're not going to. He said, no way. I said, way. You're going to give it. He said, 100%. And you're also going to have a new policy. It's called Remain in Mexico. Nobody can come into our country until they're free. And then you're going to have catch and release into Mexico. You know, we have catch and release into our country. Even if they're criminals, we catch them, we check them, we see they're a criminal, we release them, we say, come back 5 years later, you'll have a court case. Nobody ever comes back. So I said to the State Department, and a wonderful woman but a bad negotiator, I said to the State Department, give me a top 10, give me a top 10 list. Give me a top 10 things. I said to ICE and Border Patrol, give me a top 10. They gave me a top 10 list. And a lot of it had to do with all of the horrible disease that pours through. People that have highly contagious diseases are coming into our country at levels that we've never seen before. So many other things. And they gave me a top 10 list, but they laughed. They said, sir, they'll never do. We've been trying to get this stuff for 25 years. I said, if I were a betting man, I would bet you any amount of money. You'll have it very quickly. So this man comes in. I said, we want a policy, remain in Mexico, Tijuana. Hundreds of probably the fastest growing city in the world for a period of a year. That place was loaded up with people. They weren't allowed into our country. And we had already built a lot of the wall, a tremendous amount, 571 miles. Without that, we couldn't have ever done this. And he said that we're not going to do it, sir. I said, you are going to do it. He said, we're not. I said, here's the story. I'm not going to mess around with you. I have to go. I have a very important meeting, much more important than this. I said, here's the story. You're either going to do it. It's Friday evening. Or on Monday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, we are going to put a 25% tariff on everything that Mexico sends into our country. And then 1 month later, if you don't do it, we're going to put a 50%. Then we're going to go 75. And because I'm a nice person, we're going to stop at a 100% tariff. And here's the, and I had it literally written. I'm saying, should I sign it or not? Am I going to waste the ink or not? Because I'll sign it right now. On Monday morning at 7 o'clock, you're going to pay up to a $100 tariff. He said, sir, I'd like to make a phone call. I said, I wonder who you're going to call. Let me guess. You're going to call the president. He comes back 3 minutes later. Sir, it would be our great honor to give you 28,000 soldiers free of charge. It would be our great honor to have a policy of remain in Mexico. Anyway, we got all 10 things. It took about like 10 minutes. It was not... And now the other day, did you see? Mexico said to crooked Joe Biden, we want $20 billion a year just for the privilege of negotiating with you. We want you to pay us. Did you see that? It was a little article. You hardly... There's a slight difference, would you say? He would have never asked that. He would have never asked it. So he said they want 20 billion. 20 billion, not 20 million's a lot. They want 20 with a B, $20 billion a year, just for the privilege of negotiating with Mexico. And you would never get the things that they gave up, remain in Mexico. They gave up catch and release in Mexico. They gave up they gave up everything. They gave up everything. They did. They did give up the Constitution. Joe Biden, his inflation has cost the average New York household a staggering $24,000. Think of that. Because the costs have gone up so much. Bacon has gone... I don't eat bacon anymore. It's too expensive. It's true. It's gone up like 4 times. I said, what's with bacon? But if you look at the Biden price hikes, very much caused the runaway inflation, the likes of which I don't think we've ever seen before, anything like it. And they're costing average New York families $1,000 a month just in the inflationary costs. I call it the Biden inflation tax because it's a tax. On day one, we're going to throw out Bidenomics. They're going to replace it with Maganomics, like your hats, Maganomics. And I will give you lower taxes. We're going to cut it still lower. Remember, when I cut taxes, I gave you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, bigger than the Reagan tax cuts. And you know what? The following year, we reported massive increases in revenue. So with lower taxes, we actually took in more money because it gave incentive for people to work. Lots of reasons. But I will give you low taxes, low inflation, low interest rates, rising wages, growing incomes, and fair trade for the American worker. And we will make energy affordable again by saying, drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill. Your energy costs will come down within the first year by 50%. That's not bad. That's a hell of a promise. And it will, too. We can drop that so quickly. Remember, it was his stupid energy policies that caused the inflation. Now, it's more than energy. Now everything's like on fire. The whole place is a mess. We will quickly return our nation to the path of prosperity, and we will bring our country back together through unparalleled success. Our country is going to be very successful, and people are going to come together. And I will tell you, a lot of people say, do you think you can ever get the sides together? And by the way, I have to say something. Our side is much bigger than their side. You see that? Much bigger. We're more quiet, much more quiet. But when we get going, we're much tougher, right? We're much tougher. But it is much bigger. But I saw it. We had the greatest economy in history. And I was getting calls from the other side. I call it the radical left. But left-leaning, to put it mildly, Democrats, can we get together? Because everybody had the best they've ever had. African-American jobs were the best in history. Asian American, the best in history. Hispanic, the best in history. Women, people with a diploma, people without a diploma, people that went to the great Wharton School of Finance, MIT, Harvard. They were doing better, and the people that didn't have a high school diploma were having the best. Everybody was better. There wasn't one group, not one, that went down, and it was bringing our country together. So it can happen. And when they ask, because I get that question a lot, do you think the sides can ever get together? And I went through the experience, and we can get together. And then we had COVID come in, and we had to fight that battle, and we did a great. You know, I've been recognized as having created a great economy and great military, defeating ISIS and all the things. We rebuilt the entire military, created Space Force, all those things. We never got the credit, and we had no wars. Thank you, sir. That's very nice. Remember Hillary Clinton used to point at me, he will create wars. No. They said his personality will create wars. I said, no, my personality is going to keep us out of wars. And I was right. First president in 78 years that didn't start a war. We had no wars. None of these stupid wars. Such a shame. When you see all the people that died in these horrible wars in the Middle East and everything else, countries didn't want us, dropping bombs all over the place. Spent $9 trillion in the Middle East. We bomb the hell out of the place, then we leave. You know, in the old days, to the victor belong the spoils. We don't do that. We bomb the hell out of everyone, then we come back home. It's so sick. It's so sick and so stupid. These people that led us are so stupid. You want to use that as a last resort. You can solve these problems with a meeting or with a telephone call. You don't have to drop billions of dollars worth of bombs on people's heads. You don't have to. It's called peace through strength. It really is. And there's no reason for it. What they did in the Middle East is so incredible. They bombed the hell out of the place, and then they left. But to the victor belong the spoils. We didn't do that. Now, in Iraq years ago, I was a civilian, but I got a lot of publicity for whatever the hell reason. And I said, don't go into Iraq, don't go into Iraq, don't go into Iraq. But if you're going to go in, keep the oil. Well, they went in, and they didn't keep the oil. And Iraq now has $350 billion in cash from the oil. And Iran, by us destroying Iraq, the military of Iraq, you know, for years they fought each other, and they were equal sizes, equal everything. They were equal military partners. And for 1,000 years under different names, they would fight, a religious thing. They'd fight, they'd go 5 feet left, 5 feet right, 5 feet left, 5 feet right. Somebody would say they have gas, somebody would say they have nuclear, then they'd rest for a few years, and they'd fight again. But we blew the hell out of one side, Iraq. So now Iraq is a subsidiary, essentially, of Iran. Congratulations for the geniuses that got us into that mess. Because Iran essentially controls, and that was the other thing. When I was president, Iran was broke. They had no money. I said to China, if you buy, they bought a lot of oil. I said, if you buy anything, but if you buy oil from Iran, we are going to do something to you. What's that? You're not going to do any business in the United States. He said, well, that's the end of buying oil from Iran. Every country was told that. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for Hezbollah. They had no money for anything. Then Biden comes in and he takes all of the sanctions off. And they go out, and now Iran has $223 billion. Congratulations. And we're the only ones for 5 hostages. We just paid $6 billion. And for electricity for Iraq, we just paid $10 billion. And think of it, Iraq has billions of dollars that we're paying for their electricity. So we were in a position, there was no terror, there was no threat, there was no nothing. And now Iran has become a big threat again. And I tell you, I see a lot of flags from right out of Israel, right? That's right out of Israel. But remember, I said it a month ago, and it's a terrible thing to say, but I believe it. Many of the hostages that you're waiting for, and everybody's waiting for, those hostages, many of them are dead. Many of them are dead. And it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing, but many of those hostages are dead. And that's why when you see these negotiations where Hamas is like not getting back, they're saying, man, we could make a good deal, but these people are no longer alive. When I saw the way they were treated, when I saw they were thrown into the cars and how horribly they were treated, there's no way that those hostages, and some will be alive, but many of those hostages are dead. It's a very serious, horrible thing. It would have never happened if the election weren't rigged. It would have never happened if I were your president. They would have never done it. Because we have so many young people here today, I want to talk about, just for a moment, about success. Do you remember I used to give talks on success before politics? Okay, that's enough. We're going to do it. I know you're on our side, but it's enough. We're going to get them home. It's a rough situation. But remember, we used to give talks on success for the learning addicts and for others. And I used to do that before politics, and maybe it's one of the reasons I went in. But because, well, bringing our city back, it starts with getting the right leadership. It also involves men and women just like you. But I talk a lot about success, and I get paid money to talk about success. I would have done it for nothing. But then because of politics, and if you take a look, because of politics, I stopped doing that. But I think we're in the Bronx. We have young people, people that aspire to success. And I just wanted to know, I'm so tired of politics. Can we devote 6 minutes to success? Okay. So, for all of you young people, I think it's, look, I've been through tremendous, I've had great success. I've had it in entertainment, I've had it in business, I've had it in politics. I ran for office. What office did you run for, president? How'd you do? I won. Actually, I won twice. We did much better the second time, so. We got millions more votes the second time. But it doesn't compare to this time. There is so much more. We had tremendous enthusiasm when I don't call her Crooked Hillary anymore. I call her Beautiful Hillary because I took crooked and used it for Joe. I don't like using it for two people. But we had tremendous enthusiasm in 2016. We had unbelievable more enthusiasm in 2020 because we did such a good job. In fact, one of the big problems in 2016 was the wall. It was the border. I fixed it so good that I couldn't talk about it in 2020. I kept saying to my people, I want to talk about the wall. I want to talk about the great job I did on immigration. I stopped people from coming in. They said, sir, nobody cares. You already fixed it. I said, this is a terrible thing. You fix it and you can't talk about it. But let's talk about, for the young people, just to listen for a couple of minutes, because we've been talking about politics so long, I'm OD'd. You know what that means? I'm OD'd on politics. I'm OD'd on Trump. I turn on the television, Trump, 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 all different stories, Trump. They're driving us crazy. So I believe in the expression. Did you ever hear this expression? The harder you work, the luckier you get. You know who said that? A great golfer named Gary Player. He was smaller than other golfers, but he worked harder than other golfers. And he ended up with the most career wins of any golfer. He ended up with 9 majors. And, you know, he was small in stature, but big right up here. But he made that say, it was the first time I ever heard about it. He said, it's a funny thing happens. The harder I work, the luckier I get. That was an athlete saying that. Amazing, right? It's the first time I heard it. Probably been said by others, but it's true. I can tell you, if you didn't work really hard, there is very little chance that I would be standing here right now. Another part of success is something I learned from my father. I had a wonderful father, wonderful parents. I'm lucky. You got to be lucky. Got to get great parents. If you're going to spend your life working really hard, you have to love it. You have to pick something that you really enjoy. Sometimes your parents will say, don't do that. But you got to a little bit, in that case, you got to follow your own way. You got to love it. Ideally, you're going to love something where there's a potential, because there are some things you love, but it's not going to do you so good. So ideally, fall in love with something that's good. Some people go into a business where it's a very hard business. If you can go into a business that's an easier business and do well. But I see it all the time. Somebody has every ingredient for success, smart, brilliant, everything's good. But they're in a business where you hit your head on the wall. It's a very tough business. Try finding something where it's a great business with a great future, and there are plenty of them out there. My father taught me about construction, but what I really learned from him was that he worked 7 days a week because he really loved to do it. I mean, he would work on Sunday, he'd go to church in the morning, and then he'd go and work. And I know some people that don't believe in working on Sunday. You couldn't keep him away from work. But he loved working, and he was happy. He was married for a long time. That's one thing I'm not going to top him on. He was married. He was married for a long time, decades and decades. I said, Pop, I'm not going to beat you on that one. Never going to beat you. But because his work made him happy, but he was happy when he worked, and he was successful, and he knew what he was doing. He'd build a house on one side of the street. Somebody else would build a house on the other side of the street. And he'd build his house faster, better, cheaper, and he'd sell it for less money. The other guy would build the house for more money, take him longer, couldn't sell it. My father would go buy the house for less money than it cost him to build the first one, and he'd sell it. And you know, in the old days, a long time ago, his brother was a professor at MIT. My father worked, he was a little younger than my father. My father put him to school. He went to MIT, a very brilliant guy, Professor John Trump, the longest serving professor in the history of MIT, 41 years, I believe. Dr. John Trump. My father used to tell me I used to go crazy. Your uncle was always getting degrees. I had to keep building for your uncle to get him through college. He was always up there getting degrees. But he was at MIT for 41 years, a brilliant guy. He used to talk to me about nuclear because he was a nuclear genius, along with a genius about everything else. And he used to say that someday there'll be a time when a small package carried by hand can blow up an entire city. And I said, no way, Uncle John, that's never going to happen, Uncle John. Guess what? He was right a long time ago that he said it. But my father would price a house. And I'd say, how did you price in those days, Dad? He said, pricing was everything. He said, I'd sell a house for $3,999.99. And that 1 penny made the difference between selling it and not. 1 penny. If I made it $4,000, I wouldn't sell. But psychologically, $3,999.99. And he sold houses. And guys wouldn't sell them. But he used to tell me that 1 penny, sounds crazy, but it wasn't crazy. Psychologically, people thought they were buying it for $3,000, not $4,000. It's sort of like getting an 89 on a test in school, or a 90. A 90's an A, and an 89, 1 point, is a B+. Another lesson: when times are tough, sometimes that's when you perform the best. You have to learn that about yourself. You have to learn it about yourself. Are you okay? Are you guys okay? Oh, okay, take your time, yeah? Take your time. Doctor, any doctor, please? Doctor in the house. Thank you. Are you okay? You take your time, darling. Yeah. Yeah. Take your time. Take your time, Doc. We have time. Some people waited here for 2 days. It's tough. It's tough. Thank you. Plenty of time. That's good. Water. She all right? She okay? She doing all right? She doing okay? Thank you, sir. Plenty of time. Okay? You okay? Thank you. Doctor, thank you very much, doctors. Got a lot of doctors in the house. Thank you very much. Thank you, darling. That's great. That's great. Great job. People do a fantastic job here. But it's hot, and it's been a long wait, right? Long wait. Thank you very much, Doctor. Appreciate it. Thank you. I know she's going to be okay because she's so tough. Some of the greatest days of my business career were in the toughest times, but I enjoyed waking up every single morning and go to battle. A lot of people say to me today, the toughest business people, people that you know about, could I ask you a question? How do you do it? I say, do what? How do you get up in the morning and put your pants on? Where do you put the pants on? I'll explain it to you someday. How do you do it? How do you get up? How do you do it? How can you want to do with what you do? They're after you. They're after you. These horrible human beings are after you all the time. Impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, lawsuits all up. And they're doing it to injure the political opponent of an incompetent candidate because he can't run fairly and squarely. And I say, you know what I do? I just do it. I put on the blinders. I say, I just do it. We do it. And the other question they ask me is, will it happen again? And we have to make it too big to rig. We got a lot of great people watching. We have to make it too big to rig. But one of the things you need in success is momentum. You need momentum. You got to have, and when you have that momentum going, there's nothing that can stop you. And I tell the story of Bill Levitt. Bill Levitt was a great real estate man, great. Levitt towns all over the country. One of the most successful real estate people at a certain age ever. And he built these massive towns that were, you know, there was nothing like him at the time. And very successful. And he was offered a lot of money to sell to a big public company. And he decided to take it. He was a young man. He was in his 40s. And he said, darling, I'm going to take it. Told his wife, I want to take the money. And for 20 years, he went out. He bought a yacht. He lived a beautiful life. He lived in the south of France. But he got bored. And 21, 22 years later, he said, I want to make a comeback. I can't stand this life anymore. I want to make a comeback. And he went to the company that he sold to, a big public company that did very poorly. They had no idea what they were doing. You know, he used to, by the way, he used to pick up every nail, every piece of wood, he used to sell the sawdust, everything. He would say every penny was a major event. And now you had this big public company. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. So he went back and he made him an offer. They didn't want to sell, and he paid a little more. And he ended up buying it for an okay price. And he was so happy. He said, now I can go back to work. And he went back, and everything he touched turned bad. The market turned on him. The jobs turned on him. He was no longer able to get zoning. He was spending a fortune. He had just purchased it for a lot of money. And he ended up going bankrupt. He was bankrupt. And I was young when I met him. And I was at the party of a very big person, big public company person. And Bill Levitt was there. And I was in the real estate business, so I knew who he was. And you probably indirectly know who. And everybody was shunning him a little bit. Nobody cared about him anymore. But I did. And I went over to him and I say, hi, Mr. Levitt, I'm Donald Trump. I know it. I was doing great. I was sort of like a hot guy. I was hot as a pistol. I think I was hotter than I am now, and I became president, okay? I don't know. I said to somebody, was I hotter before or hotter now? I don't know. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? Who the hell cares, right? But he knew who I was, and I went up. I said, so, are you okay? And he said, I'm not really okay. I made a mistake that I'll never forget. And he was, by this time, a pretty old guy. And he was sitting in the corner of this magnificent Fifth Avenue apartment where there were 25 very successful people. But I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to find out what happened because he lost everything. Everybody knew it. It was very public. And I said, what happened exactly? What happened? He said, son, I lost my momentum. I had something going that couldn't be stopped. And I should have just stayed. I lost my momentum. And I've never forgotten the term. If you lose your momentum, you got to figure it out. But Bill Levitt lost his momentum, and he died penniless. And he was the biggest real estate person on the planet. And I've never forgotten that story. It was a sad story. He was a good man, too. I thought he was a good man, but did an unbelievable job. Today, you have Levittowns all over the country, and pretty amazing. But you have to always keep moving forward. And when it's your time, you have to know it's your time. And I said to myself, in terms of politics, I said, you know what? We did so well in number one. We did even better in number two. I said, we got to do it again because we have to do it. Maybe I'm wrong. And I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it to make America great again. You know, if I didn't think we easily won, I would never do this. Because you know what? In many ways, it's easier. You have a winner, you have a loser. It's okay. I won once. It was a big upset, I guess. I don't know why it was an upset. Because I'd go and I'd have 50,000 people at a rally. She'd go and have 200 people. And then they say, why did I win Michigan? Why did I win Pennsylvania? Why did I win all these states that a Republican hadn't won in many years? Why? And by the way, we're up in Pennsylvania. We're up in Michigan. We're up in New Hampshire today. We're up in Florida at numbers that you wouldn't even believe. But I also think it's very important to know what you want. You have to set your sights high. Set your sights so high, higher than you ever thought possible, and make your goals big and go after it. That's why I say we won't just make New York a little better. I say we want to make New York a lot better, better than it ever was before. Right? And finally, you have to take pride in your accomplishments. Do not take for granted what you've achieved. Forget it. It's over. It's good for your confidence, but it's over. Go forward. Think to the future, not to the past, but learn from the past. You know, wherever I go, I know that if I could build a skyscraper in Manhattan, I could do anything. It's very tough. Building a 68-story building on Fifth Avenue is hard. With all you have to deal with, I mean, you have unions, you have legal entanglements, property rights, zoning. You're dealing with the smartest and toughest contractors in the world. These are killers. Many of you are here today. Thank you very much. But by comparison, talking to world leaders, I believe, is easier. And I've done them both. Talking to a world leader, if you're smart, you know, you have the United States behind you. Now, the country's not the same, but it'll be better and stronger and bigger in a very short period of time. You know, we have so many different things we could discuss having to do with the Republican Party. But the biggest thing, I think, and I really mean this, and it's happening more and more, and I see it all the time, because really you have to be the party of common sense as opposed to the Democrat Party It's a party of failure, extremism, and gross incompetence, and that's what it is. And they're going to destroy our country. But our country has faced down much harder challenges before and come back stronger than ever. That's why I so firmly believe that we can quickly make America a great and glorious nation again. When I take office, we are going to restore public safety and the rule of law in New York City. That starts with stopping the pouring into our country of millions and millions of illegal immigrants, which are causing a new category of violence called migrant crime. We have a migrant crime happening now. You add that to the crime already. A terrible statistic. Venezuela was a very crime-ridden country. They just announced a month ago 67, but now they just announced 72% reduction in crime in Venezuela. In Caracas, they took their gang members, they took their drug dealers, they are emptying out their prisons, they're taking everybody that's a problem and they're dumping them into the United States of America. We're like a dumping ground. But many countries are doing that. I would say eventually all countries would be doing that. If I headed up Honduras, if I headed up any one of the countries that are neighboring or not neighboring, and we're not talking about just South America countries, we're talking about countries from Africa. The other day, 22, think of it, 22 people from the Congo. Where do you live? We came from jail. What did you do in jail? We don't want to tell you. They're now living happily. They come from Africa. They come from Asia. They come from all over the world. They come from the Middle East. Yemen. We're bombing Yemen. Here we go with the bombs again. We're bombing Yemen. And people are coming in from Yemen. Large numbers of people are coming in from China. And if you look at these people, did you see them? They are physically fit. They're 19 to 25. Almost everyone is a male. And they look like fighting age. I think they're building an army. They had 29,000 people over the last... I think they're building... They want to get us from within. I think they're building an army. This is not, you know, it's interesting. Did you see them? They all have tents. They all have gas-fired stoves. I mean, this is not like an illegal immigrant. This is, they're building something. They have something in mind. We're going to end all of that stuff. They respected your president. They respected our country. And we're not going to let people, we are not going to let these people come in and take our city away from us and take our country away from us. It's not going to happen. Now, who would let people, seriously, who would let people come from prisons and jails, from mental institutions? They cannot stay. We will immediately begin the largest criminal deportation operation in our country's history because this situation is sustainable by no country. No country can sustain this. As we speak, there are hundreds of thousands of Biden migrants invading our city and our country. We no longer have border states like Texas and Arizona. All states, including New York, are your border state. The people are pouring through Texas. They're pouring through Arizona. They're pouring through every state. Every state is now a border state. Every state is now, we're talking about, in my opinion, 16 to 17 million people. And these are not necessarily people that are going to help us as a country. We want to be nice. We want to be respectful. They're coming from so many places we don't have any idea. In many cases, we don't even know what the language. You know, you have languages that people don't even know about. We have languages where there's nobody in our country that speaks these languages. They're coming from places we have no idea what's happening with our country. The flood of migrants is putting crippling burdens on our communities, your schools, hospitals, parks, and public resources. Frankly, we're lucky to get this big park. I don't know how the hell we did it. It must be New York's finest. I don't know how we did it. They call it the Biden migrant invasion, and it's wrong. It's immoral. And the vast majority of New Yorkers agree with me that this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. We must stop it. We must stop it immediately. And you know, for the people coming up, it's also unacceptable. They come up in what's called caravans. The women are treated horribly. They're being raped at levels that nobody's ever seen before. Nobody wants to talk about it. The fake news will report that, oh, it's so terrible what he said. But it's fact. It's fact. The people are being treated, they're coming up in 100 degrees and then it's freezing. They're coming through snake-infested areas. It's a hell of a journey and so many people are dying coming up. If we told them, please do not come up, you're not going to come in, like I was telling them for a long period of time, they wouldn't come. They're being offered, look at California Governor Newsom. Governor Newsom. He offers education. He offers medical care. He offers pensions, he offers everything. He'll even give them an electric car because they're all over the place. How about the electric mandate? You like the all-electric mandate? Not too much, huh? Does anybody like a car that doesn't go very far? Cost a lot. In Brooklyn, American students at James Madison High School were recently told they had to stay at home from school so their classrooms could be turned into housing for thousands of, right? Thousands of migrants. Very simply, Joe Biden puts illegal aliens first. I put America first. I put America first. Would anybody, now this is up to you, has anybody heard the snake? Would anybody like to hear the snake? Because we can stay here all night, I don't care. Would you like to hear the snake? So it's a metaphor, it's an old song and it was redone. It didn't have anything to do with snakes or people or illegal immigration, but this has to do with illegal immigration. And I think it's very accurate actually, and it's very sad. But I'll go and we'll do it, and some of you have heard it and many of you haven't. But we're going to do it right now for the great people of the Bronx and elsewhere. We love the Bronx. We love the Bronx. Are you ready? On her work, and you know what? You know what this is all about, right? Did you know? You've heard this before? Have you heard it? We got the greatest people here. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. Poor thing, he said, I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. Take me in, oh tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by the fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and soon as she arrived, she found the pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. Take me in, oh tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. You're so beautiful, she cried. But if I hadn't brought you in by now, you truly would have died. She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed and held him tight. But instead of saying, thank you, ma'am, the snake gave her a vicious bite. Take me in, oh tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. I saved you, cried the woman, and you've bitten me, but why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in. Right? So when we allow people from prisons, when we allow people from insane asylums and mental institutions, which are being emptied out all over the world, you know, their prison populations are going way down. You know why? Because they're being dumped into the United States. When we are allowing terrorists at numbers that we've never seen before, remember the snake. Remember the snake. because you're going to get bitten like you never got bitten before, and you need a new president, and you have to get rid of this person who is not a smart person, not a respected person, and doesn't have a clue what the hell is happening. So that's the snake. Did you enjoy the snake? On day one, I will seal the border and I will stop the invasion of our country. Very sadly, in recent years, we have also seen our city destroyed by bad, radical left, pro-crime policy that virtually everyone, Republican, Democrat, Independent, everyone, you all know it's a disaster. You know the names of these lunatic policies. No cash bail. Somebody kills somebody. Go out. No bail. Don't worry. Go out and kill a couple of more people. Defund our great police. Defund the police. Sanctuary cities. Release violent repeat offenders from jail. Joe Biden supports all of this insanity and much more, but millions of people across New York know it's crazy. There is no way when you watch this guy get off an airplane, he doesn't even have to talk. When he falls out of a helicopter, he's got 3 little stairs. It's not that hard. You got 2 railings. You don't fall out of helicopters. You don't fall upstairs. He falls up. He has more trouble going up than he does coming down. That's a little sick. But you're just not going to vote for him. You just not. We got to win. If we just win the state, it just puts it right. It's such a big state. It puts it to bed. You're going to have a president and people, but you're going to have a president that understands what we have to do. We have to be nice about it, but we have to do things, and we're going to be done. And the world is going to respect us again. We were never so respected as we were 4 years ago. President Xi of China, Putin, Viktor Orban, did you ever hear of him? Prime Minister of Hungary, very tough guy, known as a strong man. Oh, they hate it when I talk about him because they say he's a strong man. Trump loves strong men. I don't know. I like weak men, actually. I like weak men. I'd much rather have a weak man than a strong man. But he is a strong man. And they asked him, why is it that the whole world is blowing up? He said, one simple reason: Trump is not president in the United States. He said, you put Trump back as president and the whole world is going to get better, because they were afraid of Trump. They couldn't figure Trump out. Trump was a rather difficult person. But he used the word afraid. I don't use it. I don't use afraid. I use the word respect. They respected your president. They respected the United States of America. And they're going to do it again, and it's going to happen fast. But we have to get this absolute disaster. The worst president in history. He makes Jimmy Carter look like he had a brilliant administration. The only thing, the only happy person about Joe Biden is Jimmy Carter, because Jimmy looks brilliant by comparison. I also want to thank New York's finest. I grew up with them. I know them. I love them. I love our firemen. I love our teachers. These are incredible people, and we have to bring the word respect and honor back to them, right where it belongs. A few weeks ago, I visited with a grieving family, New York police officer Jonathan Diller. What a beautiful family. He was a beautiful person. He was 31 years old, gunned down during a traffic stop by a vicious thug. And just horrible, leaving his beautiful young wife behind, a son, Ryan, behind, 1-year-old son. And it was the saddest day. It was a horrible thing. Opened the door and just started shooting him. The criminal charge was savagely murdering Officer Dillon, was previously arrested by the NYPD 21 times. And he was allowed to go out because of the political things they do here. I'm the only one they want to keep. If I ever said, I want no bail, they'd say, you got to pay a fortune. If I ever say, oh, no cash bail, that sounds good, that sounds good. No, it doesn't apply to Trump. I'm the only one it doesn't apply to, probably. And the accomplice driving the car had been arrested 14 times and was actually a far more violent person. And his nickname was Killer. They called him Killer. These dangerous and violent repeat offenders should never have been on our streets. Jonathan should be alive today, but they were released again and again and again. I will not sit by and accept this reckless insanity when I am in the White House. I will stand up to the Marxist DAs and Soros prosecutors, and we will tell them no more. We're not going to stand for it. We will not let them destroy our communities. We will not let them destroy our country. There's a 53% increase in felony assaults on your subways. 53%. That's in a short period of time. Since 2019, murders are up more than 20%. Shootings are up more than 30%. I'm going to indemnify all police officers and law enforcement officials throughout the United States to protect them from being destroyed by the radical left for taking strong actions on crime. And remember, Black, Hispanic, Asian people need this protection and safety more than anyone else. Don't ever forget it. And after years of talk by the radical left Democrats, we are going to give them the protection they need, and we're going to protect our police. We're going to make sure they do a great job. They can do it very quickly. They know who the bad guys are. They know everything about them. They know their name. They know their middle initial. We're going to insist that if a violent criminal murders a police officer, they receive the death penalty. It's going to be quick. And I also want to work with your mayor and your governor, happen to be Democrats, to clean up the homeless encampments so that you can once again enjoy your parks and your public spaces. Right now, you don't have public spaces. They're occupied by migrants in tents. Pleasures as simple as a walk in the park or watching your children again play in a Little League game will come roaring back, and they're going to come back very quickly. Your lifestyle and the American dream will be with you once again, and we're going to bring it back, the American dream. You don't have an American dream right now. You will be proud, and your children and your country will be even prouder of you. Years ago, people with severe mental illness were in mental institutions, and then a certain governor, I won't mention the name because at this point, what difference? They dumped all of them into the streets because they said those institutions were too expensive to run. So now they live on our streets, and that's what we have. This is no good for anybody. It's bad for the people who need help, and it's bad for the people of our city, and it's a horrible, horrible way to live. I want to work in partnership with your local leaders, Democrats, pretty much all, and move the severely mentally ill off your streets and back into a place where they can get help and the help that they desperately need. I want to recognize, by the way, a few very special people. You have some really great people here, and I'm sorry I can't mention all. We have congressmen all over the place, but I just can't mention you today. You're never going to speak to me, but would anybody like to hear these congressmen's names on it? But I do have to mention a few people. We're truly honored to be joined by a man who is a Democrat and a former member of the New York City Council, and he's been a friend of mine, and he helped me very much with the Ferry Point project and getting it working, and did a really good job. Ruben Diaz Sr. Come on up, Ruben. Good. Good. Please.
Thank you. Mr. President, I am a Puerto Rican, a black Puerto Rican. I used to be a state senator for 15 years. And I used to be city council member. Today I'm here for various reasons. But I want to tell you first that as a Puerto Rican, as a Hispanic, I want to apologize to you for the conduct of Judge Juan Merchan. As a Hispanic, I want to apologize.
Thank you.
He's been used. He has been used to destroy you. But we know better than that. We know better than that. As a minister, president of the New York Hispanic Clergy Organization, I want to tell AOC, this morning, she intended to become a prophet. And she said, even God doesn't want Trump in the Bronx because it's going to rain. Madam Prophet AOC, you have become a false prophet. Look at what a beautiful day. That means that not only you guys want Trump in the Bronx, because if we're going to measure that for the weather, then I would say humbly that even God wants you in the Bronx. And I want to close by saying, Mr. President, I want to join you in having the Bronx great again. Please accept this Democrat, this black Puerto Rican with a kinky hair and a broken English. Please accept my endorsement for you as a president. Thank you very much.
Beautiful job. Thank you. Thank you very much. How nice was that? I didn't expect that. Really? That was beautiful. You know, it's always dangerous to do that. You never know what's going to come out. Maybe he'll change his mind coming up, but he doesn't change his mind. That man is a winner. He's a winner and a great man. Thank you very much, Ruben. Also with us is New York native and current U.S. Congressman. He's hot as a pistol. Oh, boy, he has a future. And he's a great friend of mine, Byron Donalds. Come up, please, Byron.
Wow. Mr. President, there's more of them here now than when I was up about an hour and a half ago. If there's one thing we know, is that this man was one of the best presidents this country has ever had. And if there's another thing that we know, is that all of you are going to make him the 47th president of the United States.
Thank you, Byron. Great. What a good future. Here as well is rapper Chef G. Does everybody know Chef? Where is Chef G? Where is he? Come on up, fellas. Rapper Sleepy Hollow. Come on up here, fellas. How are you, man? Hey. Oh, I like that. I want to get that done.
President Trump. Oh, man. One thing I want to say. One thing I want to say. They always gonna whisper your accomplishments and shout your failures. Trump gonna shout the wins for all of us. Make America great again.
Thank you, fellas.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you very much. That's where I like those teeth. I want to find out where you did. I got to get my teeth like that. I want that to happen to me. As somebody with a fantastic future in the Republican Party and beyond, Gavin Wax, thank you. Young Republicans, Gavin, wherever you are. Thank you, Gavin. Adam Solis of New York, Young Republicans, who's been fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good job you're doing. Madeline Brame of Blexit, Thank you, Madeline. Thank you very much. Somebody that's a real star in politics and done an incredible job and so popular in Nassau County, the county executive, Nassau County, Bruce Blakeman. Come up, Bruce, for a second. Come up, Bruce. Where is Bruce? We got to get Bruce. Where is he? That's a long way to come up. To hell with Bruce, right? Come on up, Bruce. Come on. This guy is central casting. If I'm doing a movie on a politician, this is the guy I have playing. Come on. That's great.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Both my parents were World War II veterans. Not many people can say about that. They would be shocked and appalled by what's going on in this foreign invasion from our southern border. Nassau County is not a sanctuary county, and when Donald Trump gets reelected, this will not be a sanctuary country. God bless America.
Good man, good man. Thank you very much, guys. National Committeeman and Chairman Joe Cairo. Joe, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. And Andrew, thank you very much for being our star of the future. I heard you made a good speech. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you, everybody. We have so many people out there, but we're going to finish this up. This has been, I didn't know. I woke up, I said, I wonder, will it be hostile or will it be friendly? It was beyond friendly. It was a love fest. From the very first day that we take back the White House, I believe we are going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. We're going to restore peace through strength. We're going to keep radical Islamic terrorists out of our country. We're going to protect our great seniors, and I will never let anyone touch your Medicare or your Social Security. Under the Democrat program, they will be gone. We are going to restore free speech in America. We are going to fight for your right to school choice, something you all want. And I will not allow schools to impose COVID vaccine mandates or mask mandates. We are going to get far-left Marxist lunacy out of our children's classrooms. We're going to keep men out of women's sports. And we will, once and for all, secure our elections. But all of this, saving New York and saving America, starts with telling crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in history, you're fired, like the apprentice. You're fired. Get out. You were terrible. You're destroying our country, Joe. Get out. If you want to help, you must vote. I believe that we can win New York State. We have levels of support that nobody's seen before. I mean, look at this. So register, volunteer, turn out everyone you know. Don't assume it doesn't matter just because you live in a blue city. You live in a blue city, but it's going red very, very quickly. We must work together as a team to win. New York has always been the home of proud patriots like you. You are proud patriots. You love this. You love this city. You love this state, and you love our country. New York was the city loved by Teddy Roosevelt, Norman Rockwell, the great Flo Ziegfeld, General Douglas MacArthur, George Gershwin, Frank Sinatra, and in baseball alone, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Jackie Robinson, and many, many others. It's the city where workers and skilled craftsmen strode across steel beams 80 stories high to build the great Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building and all of the others. It's the city that lit up the shining lights of Broadway, that turned Times Square from a seedy, dirty, long-forgotten area into one of the greatest crossroads of light and glamour anywhere in the world. It's a city that produced generations of everyday American heroes who willingly spilled their blood and gave everything they had to make America into the greatest nation in the history of the world. Above all, this is the place that every one of us here today has been proud to call our home, our town, our city. And we are the ones who are going to make our city great again. It was hard-working patriots like you who built this city, and it is hard-working patriots, and this is something you can say it, and you can say it 1,000,000 times, and you can emblazon it. It's hard-working patriots like you who are going to save our country. You are going to save our country. We're going to get out and vote like never before. We're going to make it too big to rig. Our vote is going to be too big to rig. So one thing they can't guard against, working together, there is nothing we cannot do and no height we cannot achieve. Together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America great again. Thank you, Bronx. Thank you, New York. We love you. Thank you. God bless everybody. God bless you. God bless you.
Today was quite the historic day in politics as President Trump makes a campaign stop in the Bronx, something that hasn't happened since Ronald Reagan in 1980. And I think right now, the fact that there are a lot of people still, trying to get into this place, 3 words for you: Madison Square Garden. MSG would be quite the rally. Obviously, that's been something that's been in the works, and we'll see when that is announced. But my, oh my, if that, what we just saw here in the Bronx is going to be anything of a sample of what it will be like at Madison Square Garden, right in the heart of Midtown Manhattan. Can you believe it? Wow. We want to thank our friends at the Birch Gold Group. It's always good to have a backup plan for that dollar. Gold, silver, precious metals. Text Trump to 8898. The Wellness Company. There's an emergency kit where you could have it at the house or at your car. It's always good to have medicine on hand. We're talking ivermectin, a Z-Pack. You know how those left-wing types, they don't want to give you ivermectin, or they don't want to give you those kind of things. Well, we know through Dr. Peter McCullough and others that these are the kind of things that work for different kinds of viruses. So it's a wellness company. You see that right there on the screen. I also want to talk about the freetrumpbook.com. The kids, right, are getting indoctrinated left and right. So why not have a book that gives the true context of the presidency for Donald Trump between 2016 and 2020, and now beyond here in 2024. The information is on your screen. Also, Epic Minerals. I want to introduce you to Zeolite. So this Zeolite is an extra spray that your ultimate defense against heavy metals and other toxins that compromise your health. So the information right there on your screen as well. These are all great sponsors for Right Side Broadcasting Network. Without you, the American people, and without these great sponsors, we would not be able to bring you this live coverage, this awesome wall-to-wall live coverage that the left-wing media won't bring you. You know, I started the broadcast talking about this being the capital of fake news. New York City, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and a number of others are based here, right? A lot of international outlets, all fake news. So we're glad that you chose Right Side Broadcasting Network for your viewing today to watch President Trump. Again, a historic day here in the Bronx. We also want to thank our good friend Mike Lindell. So MyPillow, RSBN is the promo code. Go ahead, buy as much as you can from Mike, and you get that discount with the RSBN promo code. And also, of course, we want to talk to you about the newsletter, rsbnetwork.com/newsletter. Get that exclusive information right into your inbox. Stay up to date on everything Right Side Broadcasting Network and President Trump, the conservative movement. When there's news that matters, it will be brought to you not only on Truth Social at RSBN, of course at different rallies and events, but also on the newsletter. rsbnetwork.com/donate. The lights, camera, the correspondence, the staff at Right Side Broadcasting Network. We couldn't do it without donations and also our great sponsors. So if you could give a few bucks, please do. Help us throughout this election campaign season as we continue on into the future. Always good to help us out with that. I do want to say, once again, I know that today was a historic day in the Bronx, so you can rewatch this entire broadcast on Rumble. So go to the RSBN channel, and you can just scrub back, watch the entire thing again if you missed anything earlier today. Obviously, it's on other sites as well to watch, but Rumble is great to watch the rebroadcast of this. You can follow RSBN on Truth Social at RSBN. If you'd like to follow me, I'm at Matthew Alvarez on Truth Social. I used to work in the left-wing media. I am so glad that I am not working with the mainstream press any longer and standing with you, the American people, and standing with those that are in Washington that are on the conservative side. Eli Crane, Matt Gaetz, MTG, others, Rosendale out of Montana. I mean, there's so many. Kerry Lake running for Senate. We're on the right side here. Let's go and win this thing the best we can. Once again, 3 words, Madison Square Garden. Boy, that's going to be quite the night there. Reporting live from the fake news capital of the world. Hopefully New York will be made great again. I'm Matthew Alvarez. For all of us at Right Side Broadcasting Network, we will see you next time.
Parents and grandparents, the 2024 Kids Guide to President Trump is here, and it's free. As a bonus, your child gets a free issue of Everbright Kids Magazine and Activity Book, and a free video lesson. Order now at freetrumpbook.com. That's freetrumpbook.com.
What's up, guys? My name is Jaden Hurd, and I'm the host of the Let It Be Heard show here on RSBN channel. I would love for you guys to check me out. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Rumble, YouTube. We release episodes every single week regarding culture, Bible, social issues, politics, current events, anything. So if you're into any of that stuff, I highly recommend you check me out. God bless you guys, and stay safe out there.
I'm excited to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale, and here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My Slippers and Sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free.
Welcome to the Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're not like the other media outlets out there that cut and edit. In 2015, we were created by Trump's speeches and rallies, to which we continue to do to this day. We've also covered important conservative events like CPAC, tvOS, March for Life, and many other important events and hearings around the country. We were made for people like you, everyday Americans who are tired of the mainstream media, who are tired of being lied to, manipulated, and fed an agenda. Our goal here at Right Side Broadcasting is to allow you to see the truth, giving our correspondents and commentators a wide latitude to speak their minds. You won't find anything like this in the mainstream media. Your support through your donations, locals, and supporting our advertisers allows us to continue to cover important events around the country each and every day. So, from us here at Right Side Broadcasting, thank you for supporting us and the right side of history.